Leslie Selenez with our national anthem, and we're here at Wrigley Field in Chicago getting set for Game 2 of the series between the Phillies and the Chicago Cubs. Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Nothing beats a Bud. By Mellon PSFS, the official bank of the Phillies. By Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company. By Texaco System 3 gasoline. In every grade, System 3 helps make a difference in your car's performance. By Coca-Cola. It's always Coca-Cola. By Cento. And by Independence Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield. Carry us for life. Here's the way the Phillies will go today. Leading off, Lenny Dykstra. Batting second, Mickey Morandini. Hitting third, John Kruk. The cleanup hitter is Dave Hollins. Batting fifth, Darren Dalton. Hitting sixth, Milt Thompson. Batting seventh, Wes Chamberlain. Batting eighth, Juan Bell. Batting ninth, the pitcher, Curt Schilling.
And the Chicago Cubs defense looks this way this afternoon. Mark Grace, star of yesterday's game at first base. Jose Vizcaino plays second. Ray Sanchez at short, and Steve Buechele at third base. Derek May is in left field. Dwight Smith replaces Willie Wilson in center field today. Sammy Sosa plays right. Rick Wilkins returns behind the plate, and on the mound, 30-year-old right-hander Jose Guzman.
And here at Wrigley Field, the wind is definitely blowing out now. It was blowing in when we arrived today, but now it's blowing out from right to left. We'll be back to talk about Jose Guzman in just a moment.
Now from Amturf, makers of Lawn Patch, new Liquilime, the key to a healthier, greener lawn. Can't understand why your lawn looks so yellow and drab? It could be suffering from low soil pH. Liquilime is a liquid concentrate that raises soil pH fast. Simply attach to a garden hose and spray. Liquilime is working the minute it hits the lawn.
Liquilime really does work great.
Liquilime is available at Kmart, Lanco, participating Agway and True Value for a healthier, greener lawn.
I'm Jim Martindale, here to tell you about the one and only Garden Weasel. This 5-in-1 tool makes gardening fun and easy. The 3 rotary action blades mesh with the topsoil, uprooting young weeds and creating a beneficial mulch. Remove the center blade for hard-to-reach areas. The Weasel is virtually self-cleaning. There's only one Garden Weasel, and it's backed by a 100% lifetime guarantee.
The Garden Weasel is available at Kmart, Sears, Walgreens, and Frank's. Makes a great gift for friends who garden. Get yours today while supplies last.
Hey, it's TV fun time. Today's game, fill in the blanks. The only channel with exclusive and action plus uncut, unedited, commercial-free movies like and is. Okay, let's check those answers. If you said Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and the Mambo Kings, pick up your phone and order. That's right, Prism, the only channel with exclusive home team sports and a better variety of movies.
I really didn't want my husband to color his gray hair.
But then I discovered this, the hair coloring called Just for Men.
And now he looks better than ever.
Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Just for Men blends away the gray for a totally natural look. No wonder 8 out of 10 women prefer the Just for Men look to the gray look.
It's like you took off 10 years.
And in just 5 minutes.
Just for Men. She'll love the way you look.
As we mentioned, on the mound today for the Chicago Cubs, Jose Guzman, signed by the Cubs as a free agent last December 1st after spending 6+ years with the Texas Rangers. Guzman throws a power sinker, a split-finger fastball, and a good changeup that tails away from the left-handed hitters. He also has a curve and a slider. It's kind of a rarity in the fact that, most starting pitchers are 4-pitch pitchers. Guzman, a 5-pitch guy, but the 3 main ones that he'll go with are the hard sinker, the split finger, and the change.
We were talking with Guzman before the ball game. He missed 2 whole seasons having rotator cuff surgery. Not that many pitchers have come back from a severe rotator cuff injury. He has. He missed all of 1 year, didn't do a thing, and then was in rehabilitation the 2nd year. And when you watch him throw now, this guy can really bring it up there. He is one of the more successful ones to have recovered from it. You're looking at the home plate umpire, Randy Marsh. He'll be joined by Wally Bell at first, Larry Vanover at second, and Harry Wendelstadt at third base. Set to go. on a pretty day at Wrigley Field, but it's only a few degrees warmer than yesterday. It's 45 degrees, winds from the east at 14 miles per hour. That's just 2 miles per hour less than the winds of yesterday. And by the way, we had no home runs in that ball game here yesterday. Dykstra at 243 with 2 homers, 2 runs batted in. Lenny has scored 11 runs already. That's tied for the league lead. Lenny has scored runs in 8 of the 10 Phillies games, so you know your leadoff man's doing a job when he comes around to the plate that frequently.
Well, I've mentioned on numerous occasions that Lenny is the key to the Phillies offense. He's the one that gets things started at the top and makes things go. And so far this year, even though the batting average down a little lower than normal Dykstra standards, he has been getting on base and making things happen.
Lenny took an 0 for 2 against Guzman in Philadelphia. Jose pitched last Sunday and lost to Schilling 3-0. Guzman went 6 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, but they were not earned. That was when Candy Maldonado dropped a fly ball in left field, and the Phillies had 2 early runs out of it. That was in the first inning. Lenny hits it hard, but right at Grace. And Lenny hangs his head. He started down the first base line and said, uh-oh, wrong place.
Hit it to the wrong man, hit it right on the button, but you get it in Mark Grace area, as we were talking about yesterday. He handles everything.
This is where you're supposed to say, well, you can't guide him.
Well, just hit him hard and take your chances. Lenny did his part, just could not get it through the infield.
Morandini is at the plate. Mickey had a tough day yesterday, batting .200 now. Mickey took an 0 for 5 in the game yesterday. Hit the ball hard a couple of times. Morandini is 0 for his last 13. Jose Guzman leads the National League in earned run average. He doesn't have any. 15 1/3 innings. He has not given up an earned run. And yet he is 1-1, and Curt Schilling, of course, has won both of his starts. Ball and 2 strikes on Morandini. Mickey batting just .130 against right-handed pitching. That's the way to break an 0 for 13, and he's going to head for second base. The ball rolls in the grass. Sosa falls down. Mickey didn't know that, so he head first into second base with a double, breaking his 0 for 13.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Guzman makes a good pitch. It had been working inside, throws that off-speed changeup to the outside. Mickey able to just reach down and get the ball. Sosa over by that bullpen mound. You can see the outfield with the long grass is very slippery out there. Loses his footing, but as you said, Mickey had already made a commitment when he went around first. He was going into second head first, and did not know that Sosa went down. Probably couldn't have moved to third anyway.
Here's Kroc. John, the league leader in doubles. He has 7. Second in the league with his .432 average, as Teak mentioned in the opening today, just a couple of points behind Mark Grace. Ron Santo, the ex-Cub third baseman and now a Chicago radio broadcaster, was asking Teak and me before the game whether Kroc was pulling the ball more this year, whether his stance is dramatically different, and you'd have to say that he is open up there a little bit more than before. I think he started about the last week of spring training, Teak.
Yeah, he's pulled the front foot almost all the way back to the back foot, and what it does, it doesn't take away from his ability to hit the ball the other way, but as you see, the front foot keeps moving back. Still not, now it's back there. It puts him in a position where if he gets a pitch on the inside part of the plate, he can pull it.
Here's a pickoff play, but Morandini is back. It looks to me as though Kroc is standing a little closer to the plate today than he was at Veterans Stadium when he was kind of tucked all the way in the back corner of that box in the recent series against Cincinnati.
That is a stance you will not see too many major league hitters take. A lot of hitters will hit with an open stance, but normally will not pull that front foot. John's front foot is almost on the back line of the batter's box along with his back foot, so he has positioned himself all the way back with both feet in the batter's box, giving him a little more time to see the ball, a little more time to react to it. But I think the main reason is it gives him the ability now, when he wants to look for an inside pitch, to be able to turn on it and drive that ball to right field, because with his feet back that way, his hips are already open, and he's in a position where he can get the bat head out in front and pull the ball to right field with authority.
We have still seen him gap some to left center this year too, though. So I think defenses are going to have to play him honestly, and the center fielder here, Dwight Smith, is shaded a little bit to the left side. Needless to say, in this outfield, Teak, there's a lot of open space. Missed, 2-2. It's hard to get the ball through, though, on the slow grass, but you will have a lot of balls drop in. I mean, Morandini just dunked one in himself. You don't see Kruk do that all too often. John chased one well out of the strike zone, and Guzman has his first strikeout.
Guzman, after having worked down in the strike zone on Kruk earlier, and I think the intention was for this ball to be down and in. Wilkins sitting down and in. The ball just tails way away from Guzman up and out of the strike zone. John not able to catch up with it.
Here's Dave Hollins batting .256 with no homers, 5 runs batted in. Hollins has hit safely now in 5 in a row, picking up the average. He's batted .316 during the streak. A little bit outside, ball 1. Greetings to diehard Phillies fans, Elsie and Charlie Turpely of Norristown, from Ross, their son, who is here at the game today. Ball 2, 2-0 on Hollins. Hollins 1 for 3 in that game against Guzman at Veterans Stadium. Hitters are batting only .102 off Guzman. That is the lowest figure in the National League. His mound opponent today, Curt Schilling, led the National League last year. Breaking ball in for a strike. 2-1.
Guzman able to throw the breaking ball again. Now we look, though, and Wilkins goes to the outside part of the plate. Guzman's location is not real sharp right now. He's been missing. Wilkins is looking in. He's throwing out. It's the second time it's happened on left-handed hitters. And you know, over the course of the afternoon, you keep making that kind of mistake, you will have to pay the price eventually. This time Wilkins goes outside and he throws inside.
That is that's strange. Maybe Wilkins is messed up. Just kidding, T. Just kidding.
Well, that can be frustrating for a catcher because, you know, when you do cheat to one side of the plate like that, you're obviously, you know, putting yourself out of position to block balls in the dirt on the opposite side. It makes it very difficult. You would like to have your pitcher stay in the area that you're in.
There's ball 4. Well, the base was open there, but I don't think he wanted to walk Hollins, because now he has to deal with Darren Daulton, who is a hot hitter and is always a hot hitter when he comes to Wrigley Field. His lifetime average here is .306 with 10 home runs, his best of any visiting Clark. For the year, Darren at .323 leads the league with 4 homers, third with 10 runs batted in, tied for the league lead with 11 walks. Pitchers are showing him a lot of respect. Going away, ball 1. Daulton went 1 for 3 on Sunday against Guzman. First and second, and 2 outs. Phillies left them loaded in the first inning yesterday. Pickoff play at second, and Morandini is back. Talking about Guzman's surgery, the shortstop Ray Sanchez also had Tommy John type surgery on his right elbow. He missed a year. That's in for a strike. By the way, look where the shortstop is playing. He's almost directly behind second base. It's amazing. Of course, he's sneaking in right now, but when he is stationed, he is almost a second baseman. Another pickoff play, or at least Sanchez came in. There was no throw from Guzman this time. Cubs have a very good defensive infield. Ryan Sandberg, a perennial Gold Glover until this past year, of course not in there now, but Liz Caino plays a pretty good second base himself. Just missed. 2-1 the count. By the way, we saw Rhino down on the field. He's hitting off a tee now. Teak, looks like May 1st is a realistic deadline for him.
Yeah, he seems to think so. Rhino has been very frustrated by sitting on the bench. You know, he's used to playing every day, and anything that he can do to try to accelerate that progress is what he's going to do.
Guzman not real sharp here in the inning, and the Phillies trying to cash this in. It's 3-1 on Daulton with 2 runners aboard, and Sanchez wants to go in and have a word with his pitcher.
And what they're talking about right here is, when you stack a defense that far around, you're counting on your pitcher to be able to pitch a certain way. You're planning on making Dalton pull the ball and throw pitches that will cause him to pull the ball. When Guzman misses that far, a good sinker away, there's a large hole on the left side of that infield for Dalton just to roll a ball into left field. And if he gets it through there, it's an easy run for the Phillies.
Outside, they are loaded. So the Phillies load him up in the first inning for the second day in a row. Dalton, his 12th walk, that leads the league. And Guzman, who normally doesn't walk too many, has passed a pair here in the first inning. Now Jim Lefebvre takes a look now at Milt Thompson climbing in the box. Thompson, a 200 hitter. Oh, no home runs, 3 runs batted in for Milt. Up through the middle, but Guzman sticks the glove out. And the Phillies leave him loaded in the first once more. No runs, 1 hit, and 3 left aboard. At the end of the half inning, Phillies nothing, and the Cubs coming up.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and me. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Beer.
There's a new feeling sweeping the state, peace of mind. Because now people who couldn't afford health coverage can get special care from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's the most affordable coverage available to families and individuals who earn too much for Medicaid but can't afford coverage on their own. If you're uninsured, your peace of mind is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-248-5200.
Here's the Cubs lineup today. Dwight Smith plays center field. Ray Sanchez at short. Mark Grace at first. Derek May in left. Sammy Sosa in right. Steve Buechele at third. Rick Wilkins the catcher. Jose Vizcaíno at second. Jose Guzman the pitcher.
And the Phillies defense is John Kruk at first base, Mickey Morandini at second, Juan Bell at short, David Hollins at third. Milt Thompson plays left field, Lenny Dykstra in center, Wes Chamberlain in right. Darren Dalton doing the catching, and 26-year-old right-hander Curt Schilling on the mound. Kurt's 2-0, and coming out of spring training, there's a little question about Curt with that stress fracture. He's answered all those questions very well, going 8 innings his first start, and then his last game throwing a complete game against these Cubs. So I think he's pretty much removed any doubt that stress fracture was going to cause a problem with his pitching.
He says it hurts. He says he knows it's there, and certainly it has altered his training schedule. And Teak, you'd be able to identify with this. It's kept him off the links.
Kept him off the links and kept him from doing some running, but it has not kept him from doing his job out on the mound.
Against the Cubs last Sunday, he pitched a 4-hit shutout, walking just 1 while striking out 8. And now Dwight Smith getting his first start of the year. He's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. He hit .276 for the Cubs last year with 3 homers, 24 runs batted in. And Smith has always been a very difficult out for the Phillies. The very first time he batted against the Phillies, he hit a grand slam. Very first time the Phillies ever saw him at the plate, that was July 31st of 1989. He hit that grand slam off Greg Harris. When he was a rookie, he finished second in Rookie of the Year balloting, and it was won by his teammate Jerome Walton, who of course is no longer here. Jerome now plays for the Angels.
At that point in time, the Cubs thought they really had something going with the young outfielders, and it really, since then, has been downhill. Has not panned out at all for him.
Smith doesn't play a whole lot, giving Willie Wilson the day off today. Willie's been in a batting slump. Ball 2, it's 2-2. Schilling's been able to get ahead of almost every batter he's faced all year. Sometimes makes a few extra pitches then to finish him off.
Well, you watch most successful pitchers over the course of the year, and that will be the one thing that they all have in common. They do pitch from in front.
Here's a ball driven to deep right field. Chamberlain will not get that one. A home run for Smith, his first hit of the year. The first homer given up by Schilling. And the Cubs lead 1-0. That makes Jim Lefevre look like a genius, doesn't it?
Saved him for just the right time. Curt Schilling had thrown a couple pitches down in the dirt for the first 2 balls and then gets this one belt high right down the middle of the plate. You see Darren Dalton wanting the ball down and in, tails back over the middle of the plate, and Smith gives it a ride into that breeze, which is blowing from right to left, so that ball was even held up a little bit by the wind. That was jolted pretty good.
Congratulations all the way around. Ray Sanchez is at the plate, a 200 hitter, fly ball right field. Chamberlain will get this one. Wes is there for the catch, 1 down. So Schilling retires Sanchez on a fly to right, and now will face the league's hottest hitter, Mark Grace, batting at .436. He did not get a hit in the Cubs opening game. He's hit in every one since. A 9-game hitting streak for him. The league's longest hitting streak is by the Giants shortstop Royce Clayton. He has hit 11 in a row. Grace leads the league in hits with 17, leads the league in total bases with 30. And Tiki's also been hitting for a little more power this year. He's already homered 3 times, and Grace is not really a home run hitter.
I think Mark Grace has made a little bit of an adjustment in his game, knowing that Ryan Sandberg is not in the lineup on a day-to-day basis. They need a little bit more power production from him, and he's been able to tune it up a notch. And I would imagine that once Sandberg is back in the lineup and is able to contribute his normal part of the load, that Grace will go back more to the style that we're accustomed to seeing, rather than going for the home run every once in a while. It appears as if Grace picks situations, picks pitches, and then tries to go for the long ball, which he normally does not do.
Interesting that he's batting in this 3-hole and doing so well. Over the years, when they've batted him third, he has not done well. He bats for a higher average when he hits fifth. The comebacker to Schilling. Grace is out, 2 down. And another hot batter, Derek May. When you look at this Cub lineup, the guys in the 3, 4, 5 spots are the ones that worry you. Grace, May, and Sosa. They are really the only ones who have much production at this point.
Yeah, the other 6 batters in the lineup, none of them hitting over 215. Of course, that sometimes is deceiving, as we saw with Smith leading off the ball game with a home run. He didn't even have a batting average, but you know, in that case, it was pretty much just he only had 2 at bats. But the major part of the damage in the Chicago Cub lineup is done by the 3, 4, and 5 hitters so far this season.
And they will hope to add a couple of names to that as they go along through the year. Sean Dunston also out. It's questionable how much he'll play when he does come back. If and when he does, he's got a bad back. Here's a ground ball to Kruk. John scoops it up, and the inning is over. But the Cubs get a run on the leadoff homer by Dwight Smith. Their only hit of the inning, nobody left on base. At the end of an inning, it's 1-0 Chicago.
May I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'll have a Coca-Cola.
You sure you want a Coke?
Yeah, I want a Coke.
Okay, pal.
What? You order a Coke? It tastes good.
Didn't care if it was a Coke. You just want to
I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola.
Something to drink, sir?
I'll just have a...
You'll just have a...
I'll just have a Coke.
Ooh.
Here, that guy's a Coca-Cola. See ya, pal. Oh.
The sports car of sports cars is now the convertible of convertibles. Introducing the 300ZX convertible from Nissan.
People who go to a Phillies game have fun, and the ones who seem to have the most fun are the ones who get full or part season tickets. They know they've got good seats, so they don't have to scramble or wait in line. Get the best seats with the least hassle with full or part season tickets. And you can get guaranteed box seats for 13 games for just $130. For more information on all the 1993 season ticket plans, call 463-5000.
Gento Italian Food Products is rooting for the Phillies this season. For every Phillies home run, Chento will donate $200 to the Philadelphia Child Guidance Clinic. You can find Chento products in any supermarket. Wes Chamberlain to start the second. It's 1-0 Chicago. Chamberlain batting at .231. No homers, 3 runs batted in for Wes, a native of Chicago. Chamberlain took an 0 for 2 when facing Guzman at Veterans Stadium on Sunday. 2-0. Got a cloud over the ballpark right now, but it's been sunny all day long here in Chicago. Going to be cold again tonight, but then probably the nicest game of the 3-game series will be tomorrow. Getaway day for the Phillies. They'll be back home on Tuesday to meet the Padres. Jim Fregosi had a good line talking about Chamberlain's tardy arrival on opening day. He said, well, let's put it like this. He said he was here in plenty of time for a night game. Funny thing was we were playing a day game that day.
Leave it up to Frigo to find a different way to look at a situation. It's all in your perspective.
That's right. Ooh. 3 balls and a strike on Wes. Wes, of course, apologized to his teammates the next day, and that is a forgotten matter. Or as John Kruk put it, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Full count. Jose Guzman. He can be tough. He was 16-11 for Texas last year. He came within 1 out of a no-hitter on opening day against Atlanta. Couldn't get Nixon. Chamberlain gets himself a base hit. Out in the left center field, picked up by Dwight Smith. West takes a wide turn but holds on. It's a inning starting single for Chamberlain.
Not a frozen rope. Guzman gets this pitch in on Chamberlain's hands, but he's able to fight it off, and he's strong enough to push it up over the infield into short left center field. So the Phillies have the leadoff runner aboard.
Here's Juan Bell batting .207. No home runs, 3 runs batted in. Bell 1 for 5 in his career off Guzman, who he faced in the American League. Guzman has committed 2 balks this year. He leads the National League in that. One of those balks he committed in that game Sunday at the Vet. He also had a throwing error in that game. Guzman's first year in the National League. He's 30 years of age in his 7th major league season. Larry Boa giving the signs to Bell, standing out of the box. When we arrived today, that wind was blowing straight in. Now blowing from right to left. Chamberlain safe.
Wrigley Field, a ballpark that you have to constantly watch the flags because the currents do continually change over the course of the afternoon. I've seen days already where you come in, beginning of the game, it's blowing straight in. By the end of the game, it's blowing straight out. So you have to continually be alerted as far as how the winds and the currents are shifting around Wrigley Field.
But the key point is, though, do you really change the way you go about business depending on the way the wind is blowing?
Well, I think you don't change how you go about business. A pitcher has to do what he's going to do, but I think the fielders will make adjustments accordingly. You're going to move in and back. You're going to position yourself a little differently because of the way the ball's going to carry, which direction the wind's going to push the ball. Right now, a ball hit the left center field is going to come back toward the left fielder.
In the air, popped wide of third. Buechele looks like he's got room, and he does. Bell is out on a foul pop to Steve Buechele. Chamberlain stays at first, but from a pitching perspective, you don't really go ahead and change anything.
No, the only thing you may do is if the wind is blowing directly in, you may have more of a tendency to challenge hitters up high if you get behind in the count. You don't have the fear of the ball going out of the ballpark quite as easily. So you may 2 balls and no strikes, just throw the ball up in the strike zone out over the plate and let them hit it as far as they can into that wind and let your outfielders take care of it. If the wind's blowing out, you would pitch a little differently.
Sacrifice situation for Schilling, and if there was any doubt, Guzman tricked him into showing it. That means that Steve Buechele can feel very confident about running in from third. But that's a good bunt by Schilling. Guzman bare hands and throws over to first for the out. 1-4 on the sacrifice, and Chamberlain takes second.
You know, we talk on many occasions about the high grass and how it eats up ground balls in Wrigley Field. This is the perfect field to bunt on, though, because you don't have the problem you have on AstroTurf with the ball running too far and getting to the fielders. If you can get it down on the ground, there's a good chance that it's going to die in that infield grass before it gets to anybody. And moving runners along, much easier task here.
Dykstra steps in. Lenny hit the ball hard in his initial at bat, but he lined it right at Mark Grace. Guzman gets it over for a strike. Yesterday, the Phillies stranded 10 runners, and they left them loaded in the first inning today. Lenny's gone to the short-sleeved under jersey in this 45-degree weather. In the air, back of the infield, left side. Call is made by the left fielder May, and Derek wraps it up. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Cubs lead 1-0.
My Uncle Ernie loves the Phillies, but he's such a lousy driver, he could never make it to the vet to see him play. He even got his insurance canceled trying. So to get Uncle Ernie off the road and into Veterans Stadium, we got him Prism.
Kruk, Dykstra, Dalton. The Phillies are gearing up for an exciting season, and Prism has 45 games from Veterans Stadium. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get installation for only $4.95 or a free upgrade.
I can't believe Uncle Ernie makes his living as a driving instructor.
Hi, I'm Mickey Morandini of the Phillies. When I make the plays at second base, I depend on my Rawlings glove. It's a choice of the pros. At Gold Medal Sporting Goods, you'll find a great selection of Rawlings gloves, balls, and equipment. Plus, Gold Medal is the official retail outlets of the Phillies. So team up with Rawlings and me at any one of the Gold Medal Sporting Goods stores in the Delaware Valley, where you'll find the best service, selection, and prices around.
When my doctor said to start exercising, I knew I wasn't 25 anymore. That's when I called Bill, my nationwide insurance agent.
Jim had some questions, so we did a nationwide care review. We talked about his financial plan, life insurance, disability coverage, even retirement.
Yeah, we covered everything.
It turns out Jim was okay just the way he was.
Insurance-wise, right?
Right.
The care review from Nationwide, because things change.
Phils are back at the vet on Tuesday night to meet the Padres in a 3-game series, each of those at 7:35. Dodgers move in next weekend. Friday at 7:35, Saturday at 7:05 card book night, Sunday the 25th for the Fanatics' birthday, and then the Giants for the final 2 games of the homestand, Monday and Tuesday the 26th, 27th. Tuesday the 27th is a business person special at 12:35, the first of 5 for the year. Call the Phils at 463-1000 for your tickets. 1-0 Cubs. Sosa leads off, and he had a big rip at that one. Sosa batting .293 with a homer, 4 runs batted in. Happy birthday greetings to Brendan McGuire from Southwest Philadelphia, 1 year old today. Sosa puts it into the air to left center. Wind helps it, and it's gone. Sosa with his second home run, 2-0 Cubs.
For the second inning in a row, the Cubs start off with a leadoff home run. 2 guys that you don't really expect to hit a whole lot of home runs. Dwight Smith in the first inning, Sosa here, but Sosa gives this one a ride, extends his arms, gets out and hits through the ball. Both of the pitches up in the strike zone. This one even a little higher than the one Dwight Smith hit. Got full extension, hit it about a third of the way up that bleacher section in left center field.
He hit it pretty hard. He did have some help from the wind. That's the way it's blowing. The batter now is Buechele, hitting at .206. No homers, 1 run batted in, and Sosa gets congratulations from the teammates. Jim Fregosi not too pleased with the way this one is getting underway today, with 2 long balls when Schilling hadn't given up any in his first 2 starts. Anthony Gargano, originally from Philadelphia, now working as a sports writer here in Chicago, says hi to everybody back home. Did Buechele swing at that? No. No swing, says Wally Bell. Buechele, a pretty good fielding third baseman. He doesn't have one of the great arms in the league by any means.
Buechele's defensive ability, he moves very well to his left and his right. The play that he has trouble with is the slow roller. We saw a ball yesterday Wes Chamberlain hit just in front of the bag, and he held on to it and did not make a throw to first.
Sharply hit ground ball to Bell. Juan's throwing plenty of time. Buechele is out, one away here in the second. Well, Buechele was picked up by the Cubs in a trade for a guy we're going to see tomorrow. Danny Jackson will pitch this game for the Phillies against his old teammates here tomorrow in the windup of this series. And now Cubs catcher Rick Wilkins, who is off to a tough start. He was 0 for 17, got his first hit in his last at bat in that Atlanta series, so he's 1 for 18. That's 0-56. Talking with Rick on the field before the game, he seems to be holding up okay though, and if he starts to hit even a little bit, he'll be the Cubs' everyday catcher. Cubs are going with 3 catchers. Not too many teams do that anymore. We saw Steve Lake behind the plate yesterday, and they also have a rookie, Matt Walbeck. Walbeck caught one of the games last weekend at Veterans Stadium. Right on the ground to Morandini. Mickey stays down on it. 2 outs. Next up, Jose Vizcaíno, second baseman. He's got the job only until Sandberg returns, so if things go right for the Cubs, that's about another 2 weeks.
Vizcaíno will then return to his normal role as a utility infielder. Has the ability to play third, short, and second, so a very valuable member to the Cubs bench.
Base hit for Vizcaíno, sending it out into left field. He has a 2-out single, the Cubs' first single today, and a third hit. Well, that'll get the pitcher up and quite possibly out of the way. The pitcher, Jose Guzman, of course, over from the American League, not experienced with the bat. He's 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts so far, but he looked decent at the plate when we saw him last week at Veterans Stadium. Speaking of hitting in this ballpark, this is the anniversary of Mike Schmidt hitting 4 home runs here. April 17th, ball gets on through Dalton, down to second goes Vizcaíno. 1976 when Schmidt hit those 4 home runs here. Scoring a wild pitch.
Schilling just short hops the ball in front of Darren Dalton. Dutch actually got the glove turned over backward, did not have it in the right position, and scooted underneath and rolled behind him.
Good swing by Guzman. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike 2, and Schilling wants to make 1 more pitch in this guy and then get to the dugout.
Well, if he throws that one again, it should get the job done. Guzman did not have much of a swing at all at that ball. That ball down and in. That was pretty much by him before it got there.
A little topper. A lot of spin on that, but Schilling surrounds it and throws him out. Cubs a run on 2 hits and 1 man left. At the end of 2, it's 2-0 Chicago.
Without you, they'd never make it down this mountain. Horses don't show much appreciation, but a job well done still has its rewards.
Head for the mountains of bush.
Did you know Texaco puts System 3 in every grade of gasoline?
System 3 gets high marks in every grade, which is a lot better than I ever did.
My dad says Texaco put System 3 in every grade. I'm in the 4th grade.
Of course. That's why I always fill up with System 3. What do I look like? Don't say it.
Visit your Texaco station.
I can get the tires rotated, the car lubed, and still get home in time for the game.
Mow the lawn.
For unbeatable System 3 gasolines and so much more.
Mow the lawn.
Mow the lawn.
Last September, we introduced you to the Nissan Altima, the affordable luxury sedan with a starting price of just $13,000. Since then, the Altima has become the best-selling new car nameplate in America. And right now, you can lease a Nissan Altima XE for just $1,000 down and only $199 a month. Come and experience the remarkable Altima at your Nissan dealer today.
April 20, 21, and 22, the Phillies play the Padres, followed by the Dodgers the 23rd and 24th, when fans 14 and under get a free card book, and Sunday, April 25th, for the Fanatic's birthday, when fans 14 and under receive a free baseball cap.
Top of the third at Wrigley Field, Mickey Morandini to lead it off, and it's 2-0 Chicago. Mickey has a double in his only at bat today, breaking an 0 for 13. It took Jose Guzman 24 pitches to get out of the first inning when the Phillies left him loaded, and it took him 12 pitches to get out of the second. Mickey fooled on that one, 0-2. One final from the National League. The Mets defeated Cincinnati 4-1. Those Reds are off to a really rocky start, aren't they, Teak?
They are struggling big time. Tony Perez not getting a real easy ride his first time around the league. His ball club is struggling. They have some injuries. Morris is out, and they have some disarray in their pitching staff right now. I know Tom Browning was trying to make a comeback this year, and he has not pitched well yet. So Tony Perez struggling just a little bit with that Cincinnati Reds ball club.
Cincinnati 2-9, last place in the NL West, trailing the front-running Giants by 5 games already. They've lost 5 in a row. In the air, left field side, shortstop Sanchez is out and makes the play. Morandini retired on a pop-up to left field. One out on the third. Here's John Kruk. Guzman struck him out the first time up, his only strikeout today. Kruk with 9 extra base hits. He leads the league with that figure. And he has a .512 on base percentage. That is tied for best in the National League. You know, when you check the league leaders, of course it's awfully early in the year, but there's a young man with the Montreal Expos, Mike Lansing. He'd been filling in for Delano DeShields at second base. Delano returned to the lineup last night. Lansing now is going to play third base. He apparently is going to make a lot of impact on that team. He's among the league leaders in several categories. That's a foul ball.
Well, he got an opportunity to play with DeShields being out and decided that he liked it. Say, well, hey, this is a pretty good deal playing him every day in the big leagues. Maybe if I put some numbers up on the board, they'll keep me in here for a while.
Well, he's doing it all right. Lansing with 16 hits. He's tied with Kruk, just one behind Mark Grace. Lansing has 28 total bases, just 2 behind Mark Grace. He scored 10 runs, just 1 behind Dykstra, and the others who lead the league at 11, Barry Bonds being 1 and Eric Young being the other.
Those kind of numbers will keep you in the lineup. They get managers' attention in a hurry.
Called third strike. Kruk strikes out for the second time. He got him swinging last time.
This is a real good pitch by Guzman right here. We see Wilkins setting on the outside corner. It's a little backdoor breaking ball. Just bends it around the plate, down and away. John really doesn't have a whole lot that he can do with this. You see he's out in front a little bit on the off-speed pitch. Just a perfect pitch by Guzman. You just have to tip your hat to him on that one.
So Kruk a little frustrated right now after his first 2 at-bats. Here is Hollins. Pitches in just under the letters for a strike. Dave walked in the first inning. Center fielder Dwight Smith shading Hollins the opposite way, high and away a ball. the outfield play. Look at that space between center and right.
And look how shallow Sammy Sosa is playing in right field.
Yeah.
Talking to Larry Bowe after the game yesterday, and he should know about Wrigley Field after having played here for quite a few years. He says Sosa's going to get burnt playing that short. Somebody's going to get one. They're going to ride it out over his head. Bowe was telling me after the game yesterday, he says, you wait. Sometime today or tomorrow, somebody's going to ride one over his head, and it's going to cost the Cubs.
Ball 3. Obviously, Hollins has not hit his stride yet. Dave batting .256, but he has hit safely now in 5 in a row, so it looks like it's starting to come.
The other thing you have to like about the Phillies offense so far this season is all the hitters are very patient. They're not afraid to go deep into the count, not afraid to take pitches, give the pitcher a chance to get in the hole. They have a lot of confidence in their ability to hit with 2 strikes on them or hit them behind in the count, and therefore giving pitchers a chance to walk them or get in situations where they have to give them a good pitch. Right here, Guzman on a 3-2 pitch throws it way high to Hollins, not even close, so the Phillies get a base run.
With 2 outs in the inning, Hollins walking for the second time this afternoon. Darren Dalton steps in, and he also walked first time up. Well, the crosstown Chicago White Sox lost this afternoon at Fenway Park in Boston. The Bo Sox beat them 5-1. Dalton in this ballpark, 306 lifetime, and Darren's been on base in every game the Phillies have played this year. Today is the 11th Phillies game, and either via a hit or a walk, including today. He's been on base in every game. Great pitch from Guzman. 1-1. How about those Detroit Tigers? They scored 20 runs today, beating Seattle 20-3. Wow.
Sparky Anderson's ball club putting a lot of points on the board.
Well, you know, that's somebody said, hey, you know, the Tigers scored 20 runs today, and then the other guy said, well, did they win?
That's
20. It would take you a while to add them up. Fortunately, that game is over. You can see Toronto has 8 on the board, leading Cleveland 8-1.
20 runs.
But did they win?
There was a time in the last couple of years where that was always a question with the Tigers, no matter how many runs they scored.
No swing, says Harry Wendelstedt. 3 balls and a strike on the Dutchman. Here's a guy, he's so good he's got 2 nicknames. Teammates call him Bubba, but he's commonly known as Dutch as well. Ball 4. It's the second time in the ball game that Guzman has walked these 2, Hollins and Dalton, back-to-back with 2 outs. So Milt Thompson feeling like he ought to do something, huh?
Well, Milt a little frustrated right now. He's got off to a slow start, and this has happened quite a bit. Guys have worked around Dalton, and Milt's been in a position to drive in some big runs, has not done it consistently. He did drive in a couple runs down in Houston in the 1 ball game to win a ball game for the Phillies, but yeah, knowing Milt, knowing his temperament, he's just going to keep plugging away, and he will get the job done eventually. Always has, always will.
Milt's a veteran, and he knows this is a marathon, not a sprint. Ball 1 to Milt. He hit a comebacker to the mound first time up. Colorado won another game today, beating Montreal by a 9-1 score. Held the swing, pitches inside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, I mentioned Guzman threw 24 pitches in the first inning and only threw 12 the second inning. He was off to a good start in this inning, but now he's starting to rack up the pitches again.
Yeah. Foul by Milt. Well, that's what happens. You walk back-to-back hitters after getting the first 2, and of course he struck Kruk out, so there were some pitches involved there. Guzman has not given up a home run this year. Low, ball 3. 3-1 on Thompson. Chamberlain next. Phillies trail 2-0 in the third. Ball 4, they are loaded. Second time today the Phillies have loaded the bases. And here comes Billy Connors out of the dugout. This is an unusual situation where Guzman's not missing by a whole lot. You walk 3 straight batters after you get 2 outs.
They're in a position early inning to have a nice easy inning and get off the field without too much damage, and then you cause yourself a whole lot of problems, and you cause your manager a whole lot of headaches. Start throwing balls. Well, I mean, now you're in a position where you're thinking to yourself, now I have to throw a strike because the bases are loaded. Wes Chamberlain in this situation, should be looking for a pitch to hit. Guzman is going to obviously want to get ahead in the count, look for a pitch to hit, but don't get over anxious. Don't decide that you're going to swing right away. If it's in your zone and it's a good pitch, take a hammer at it. But if it's borderline or off the plate, he's been having some trouble. Wait and go a little deeper in the count.
Chamberlain singled first time. And Guzman puts an off-speed pitch by him. Well, Guzman has walked 5. We saw Mike Morgan, Cubs pitcher, walk 7 at Veterans Stadium last Saturday night. So those Cub pitchers will walk a few. Oh, Chamberlain chased one. Wilkins was set up outside, and Wes went for it.
It appears as if the first 2 pitches, Wes has had his mind made up that Guzman is going to throw him a fastball. Both pitches are on the outside part of the plate. This one here, Wilkins sitting on the outside corner. The ball is never even in the strike zone from the time it leaves his hand. But Wes had already made up his mind that he was going to swing. He was convinced that Guzman was going to throw him a strike. Now he's in the hole 0-2.
Chamberlain tires of waiting. Well, Guzman's in the driver's seat here. It's funny, he's gotten him on these first 2 pitches. Now he can't decide what to throw.
No, I've thrown my 2 waste pitches, and I don't have any waste pitches left. I've already used them. We mentioned earlier in the inning about the Phillies hitters being very patient, willing to go deep in the count. This at bat right here, Chamberlain not being patient and swinging a couple balls. The first one borderline a good pitcher's pitch, and the second one way out of the strike zone. So he has put himself in a hole 0-2 rather than making Jose Guzman do it.
He laid off that one. One ball and 2 strikes on Wes. He didn't swing at this.
No, he checked very easily on this one here. But if it worked once, we'll try it again. Don't be surprised to see if they go back out there again.
He laid off that too. You're right, they did go back out there. Now it's 2-2 on Wes.
If Guzman has the ability to make a pitch right here, he's pretty much got Wes set up for the fastball on the inside part of the plate. He's been out there 4 times. Wes has been biting. He's going to have to protect the outside.
Goes out again, and the ball gets away. Here comes Hollins. He scores. The other runners move along. It's a 2-1 Cub lead. Oh, look at Jimmy. He is really upset about that, because he made Chamberlain look bad on those first 2 pitches. Now the Phillies wind up getting a run and move 2 more along.
And after being in a 0-2 count, Guzman, without the ability to finish the hitter off, bounces another breaking ball. Wilkins does everything he can, but because it was so far outside, he couldn't get his shoulder turned and push it back in front of the plate.
It's a wild pitch. Chamberlain jammed on this one. 3-2 on Wes. A lot of pitches this inning for Guzman.
And really, that's a free run for the Phillies. The Phillies have had to do nothing offensively except stand at the plate to tally that run.
Chamberlain on the ground to Buechele. Makes the play to first, and that takes care of it. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Phillies get a run without a hit. They leave 2 on base. It's 2-1 Cubs.
Baseball. Phillies baseball. Dykstra, Dalton, Hollins, Kruk. The home team. The home field. Comedy. Fatal Passion. Material Girls. True Love. Paths to Freedom. The best movie of the year. Home Team Sports. Great movies. Prism. One channel. 1 month. 1 call. Make it now.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by. With a break in the action, now's the time for all the thirsty sports fans to reach for the one beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Head for the mountains of Busch. Your Quality Plus Ford dealers who invite you to come in and test drive the brand new 1993 Probe. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. Your Nationwide agent in Drexel Hill is Larry Saluki. Phillies on the board with a run without a hit, and it's now a 2-1 ball game as we go to the bottom half of the third. And leading off for Chicago will be one of the Cub top hitters today, Dwight Smith. He has hit a home run. Jose Guzman issued over 30 pitches that inning and winds up giving up a run. Schilling ready to go to work. He's given up home runs to the leadoff hitter in each of the previous 2 innings. He'll want to be careful of Smith right here. Dwight Smith, an interesting guy. A couple of times he has sung the national anthem here at Wrigley Field.
Multi-talented.
Yeah. Takes a strike. You'd have to call Smith a hitter who plays the outfield. But they've got him in center field today. Thinks about bunting. It's a ball, 1-1.
Well, Smith has the speed to be a good outfielder, but he just doesn't seem to have the instincts out there. He doesn't react to the ball very well off the bat and causes himself a lot of problems defensively.
You know, that run that the Phillies just got, even though they got it on 3 straight walks and then a wild pitch, is an earned run. And it's the first earned run that Guzman has given up all year.
And he can definitely be considered responsible for that one.
Yeah, that's true.
He did it single-handedly.
It missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Smith. Prior to this game, Smith had only 2 at-bats all year, both as a pinch hitter, and he did not have a hit. Cubs are playing 17 of their first 23 games against teams from the NL West. So these 6 with the Phillies, which concludes tomorrow, the only 6 that they play in division. Did he swing? He did. Harry Wendelstadt says strike 3. See you later. Schilling's first strikeout.
And finally, we get by the leadoff hitter. Took the 3rd inning to keep the leadoff hitter in the ballpark, but Schilling does it with style, getting Smith to strike out.
Sanchez 0 for 1, fly ball to right field. Sanchez hit .251 for the Cubs last year in 74 ball games. He had a bout with chicken pox last year. Fists it out into center field, and Sanchez has a hit. Hit number 4 for the Cubs, a single by Ray Sanchez. Here's a guy you'd rather see batting with the bases empty if you had anything to say about it. Mark Grace, 0 for 1 today. Ball hit back to the mound. Grace with his 9-game hitting streak and his league leading average of .436 at game time. So Grace has not shaved, and we were kidding him about it on the field before the game. When are you going to shave? He says, I'm not sure I could afford it. The kangaroo court would fine me too much.
Well, it's a tough life in Major League Baseball when your teammates control whether you can shave or not.
But
not that he's superstitious at all. The fact that he's hitting the ball real well might have a little bit something to do with it. He might not be fighting that kangaroo court real hard.
Grace said he has recently been divorced, so he said it doesn't matter how I show up at home, nobody's going to get on me there.
Can still get in the house.
Schilling stops to tie a shoelace right here. Two balls and no strikes on Grace. Grace, in his minor league career, was the most valuable player of the Eastern League back in 1987. That's ball 3 on him. And right now he is a lifetime .299 hitter. Ball 4, Schilling's first walk, and the Cubs have something going here. We talked earlier about there being just one spot in the lineup that you have to be concerned with, and unfortunately he's in the middle of it right here. Derek May 0 for 1, a ground ball to Kruk. 2 on with 1 out in the Cubs' third. It's 2-1 Chicago. Little roller on the right side. Kruk's going to need some help. Schilling is there. Runners move along on May's ground out. 2 down, and Sosa will bat.
Good play by the Phillies defense right here, getting over Schilling, making a determination, number 1, that he could not field the ball himself. Therefore, he lets it go. John Kruk makes the play and gets the ball to Kurt in good shape, gives him a good toss up around the letters on the uniform where he can see the ball, handle it, catch it, then find the bag, turn around and check the runner at third. So good defensive execution by the Phillies.
All right, now here you've got Sosa, who homered off him the first time up, with Buechele batting next, and Buechele's not been hitting much, and there is a base open. Any temptation here, Teak?
Well, I think you just want to be careful with the pitches that you throw to Sosa.
Jammed him on that one. Strike 1. This is.
You can be a little bit more selective, with your pitches and with your location in this situation. You're not, if you walk Sosa, you do not put another guy in scoring position. And as you mentioned, Buechele not hitting nearly as well as Sosa is early in the season. So you don't actually intentionally walk him, but you pitch him carefully and try to get him to hit one of your pitches.
This is the only action in Major League Baseball right now. Other games all final. Minnesota beat Kansas City 8-2. Milwaukee over Oakland 6-3. Detroit 20-3 over Seattle, as we mentioned earlier. Toronto beat Cleveland 8-1. Check swing roller on the right side. Kruk will make the play, and Schilling is out of the inning. For Chicago in the third, no runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And after 3, Cubs lead 2-1.
What does it take to be a mountain man? Do you need a big horse? Do you need a deep tan? Do you have to have a saddle? Do you have to have the gear? Well, the simple truth is you just gotta have the beer.
Bush beer, an easy drinking Bush Light. Have you got what it takes to be a mountain man?
What does it take to live a mountain man's life? Get smooth Bush beer, is a drinking Bush Light.
For all the thousands of words already written about the revolutionary Dodge Intrepid, Automobile Magazine managed to sum it up in just 4. Intrepid. This changes everything.
The Phillies play Lasorda's Dodgers with Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis, Saturday, April 24th at 7:05. Free baseball card books for all fans, 14 and under, compliments of Donruss. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
You'll be sitting pretty if you have Phillies season tickets, and you can show up at the ball game anytime you like. Of course, you don't have to buy a season ticket for every ball game. The Phillies have many, many different kinds of plans. They have a night game package, a Sunday game package. In fact, one of the packages begins for just $130. So here's the number to call to get all the information on Phillies season tickets. 215-463-5000. We move to the fourth inning at Wrigley Field. Andy Musser with Kent DeCaldi, and it's 2-1 Cubs. Juan Bell is the Phillies leadoff hitter. Juan was out on a foul fly back of third base, caught by Buechele first time up. Got to say though, Teak, that you're keeping track of it over there, but Jose Guzman has made a lot of pitches in this game.
Yes, he made 68 pitches through the first 3 innings, threw 32 of them in the third inning. So one thing you can pretty much put in the book right now, Guzman is not going to finish this ball game.
You wouldn't think so. The Cubs have an 11-man pitching staff, and they are just loaded with left-handers down there. McElroy, Ostenmacher, Plesac, and Myers from the left side, all out of the bullpen. They have one left-handed starter. Greg Hibbert. Will be seeing him tomorrow afternoon. All teams have those new parkas this year. They have certainly come into play here in the early going. Today's temperature 45 at game time. Right on your screen, it looks a lot nicer than it is here at Wrigley Field.
The sun is deceiving today. Yesterday being overcast, it looked cold. Today with the sun, it looks like one of those midsummer days in Wrigley, but it's not.
Grounder on the right side. Mark Grace won't miss that one. Bella's out. Grace fielded .998 last year. He won his first Gold Glove a year ago. Will Clark had been the annual there for the last couple of years. And Curt Schilling. Curt 0 for 4 as a hitter, 155 lifetime. 11 major league hits for Curt, who sacrificed his first time up today. They play him like a typical pitcher, around to right and shallow, especially on the right side. Derek May is fairly deep.
Guzman, the first 2 hitters of this inning, Bell and now Schilling, 2 balls and no strikes on both of them, so continues to struggle with the control.
Gets this over, 2-1.
And that pitch right there is what you have to do when you're continually at 2 balls and no strikes, is just take something off of it and throw it right down the middle. And unfortunately for Guzman right there, he had a pitcher at the plate.
Grounder hit to Vizcaíno. Schilling is out, 2 down. Lenny Dykstra batting with the bases empty and 2 out. Lenny is 0 for 2 today. He lined to first and flied to left. 1-run ball game unfolding here at Wrigley Field. The Cubs are 5-5, and 4 of their 5 losses were by a single run. Lenny's still looking for his first hit off Guzman. He's 0 for 4. Up the middle, base hit. Dykstra gets a 2-out single, the Phillies' 3rd hit of the ball game. Lenny's on first, bringing Mickey Morandini to the plate. Mickey doubled in 2 at-bats today, doubled and popped up. Lenny tied for the league lead in steals. He's stolen 5. Wilkins has thrown out 3 would-be stealers so far this year in 7 attempts, so he's at 43%. Guzman's job is to keep Lenny close.
Looking at the Cubs defense, Vizcaíno is playing Morandini just about the same way he was playing Dykstra, which is almost like a pull hitter, which surprises me quite a bit. Leaves a big hole up the middle. Neither one of those guys are really that much of pull hitters. That ball Lenny hit was not that sharply hit up the middle, but because Vizcaíno is playing that far over, there's a big hole between himself and the bag. I'm not quite sure I understand the philosophy of the Cubs defensive setup right now.
Especially with Guzman pitching outside like that. I mean, the only thing it could relate to is the way they're planning to pitch him, and it doesn't look like Jose's doing that.
Yeah, but normally if your pitcher's struggling with his control that much, you give up some of the shifts. It's all tied together. Pitching and defense is linked. Because Vizcaíno is playing so far over at second base, that means Sanchez has to move more toward the middle at shortstop. And it's really an overshift defense, almost like a pull defense against hitters that really aren't pull hitters.
Interesting thing is that in the outfield, they're playing just the opposite. They're playing it one way in the infield and another way in the outfield.
Infield's playing the pull, outfield's playing around the opposite side. See Dwight Smith in center field way over.
Mickey swung at that one. And that's the third strikeout for Guzman. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, one hit, one man left on base. It's 2-1 Cubs.
Major League Baseball Home Video proudly presents Centennial, over 100 years of Philadelphia Phillies baseball. This special video captures the passion and excitement that is shared by the Phillies and their fans. Relive all the joy and fun of 1950 and the beloved Whiz Kids. And who will ever forget the magical year of 1980 when the Phillies won it all? A must for every Phillies fan, Centennial has the history, the fun, and the hustle of Philadelphia baseball. To order for just $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
Games. Monday, April 26th at 7:35, and Tuesday afternoon, April 27th at 12:35. It's the First Business Person Special. And Barry Bonds, Will Clark, and the Giants come to town. Call 463-1000.
A week from tomorrow is the Fanatics birthday celebration at Veterans Stadium, and when the Fanatics celebrates, you get the caps. The youngsters anyway, all children 14 and under, receive a great baseball cap in red and black featuring the Fanatic right on the front. Compliments of Tasty Cake. Call 215-463-1000. We'll see you at Veterans Stadium 1 week from tomorrow and help us Fanatics celebrate his birthday. Cubs continue in front 2-1. Steve Buechele leads off the Cub fourth inning. In this game today, Steve is 0 for 1. It was a ground ball to Bell. Buechele first made it into the National League with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Played in the American League for Texas. In 1991, he set an American League fielding record at third base by fielding .991. That was the year he was traded over to the Pirates, but he'd already had enough chances in the field for that record to stand and be an all-time AL mark. Curt Schilling's had trouble with leadoff hitters in the innings today. Now, last time he struck out Smith, who had homered the first time up, and Sosa hit a leadoff homer, so he'll be careful with Buechele here. Held the swing, I think. Yeah, he did. 3-1. Steve Buechele was a college teammate at Stanford of John Elway, and as a matter of fact, he roomed with Elway. Spent 3 years at Stanford. Loop to short. Short hopped by Bell. Buechele is out. 1 down in the fourth.
Bell, this ball doesn't come off the bat quite as hard as Juan thinks it's going to. Not able to get to it on the fly, but does a nice job of getting on the short hop and getting over to John Kruk. A lot of times shortstops will get fooled on a pitch like that because the ball did jam Buechele pretty good, and the ball just did not come off the bat as hard as Juan had anticipated it.
Rick Wilkins, the catcher. Tough start for him this year. Wilkins is 1 for 19. Today 0 for 1, ground ball to second. The good news is, though, that on that one hit he got, he did drive in a run.
Looks like he took one on the chin, too.
It does.
been tough all the way around for Rick.
Well, that's a typical catcher's injury there, isn't it? Ground ball, foul, first base side. Guy who did a lot of catching for the Cubs the last couple of years, Joe Girardi, and now is the catcher at Colorado. I guess they like Wilkins better, huh?
Well, they left him open to the expansion draft, so they must have made the decision that Wilkins is the guy they want behind the plate. As far as looking at Girardi and Wilkins, they had a choice of who to protect. Decided to keep Wilkins on the ball club as their catcher.
Schilling's 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. Giving you the scores a while ago when an inning ended, so we'll complete them for you. Texas blanked the Yankees at New York today, 9-0. The Red Sox 5-1 over the White Sox. In those two National League finals, Colorado beat Montreal 9-1 in Montreal. And the Mets 4-1 over Cincinnati in Cincinnati. 2-2. Other National League action will be tonight. Ball 3. Wilkins is from Jacksonville, Florida. 25 years old. Ground ball to short. Bell watches it come off the grass and dirt and makes the play. There are 2 outs.
Juan Bell 2 for 2 this inning.
He's played very good shortstop in the 2 games so far in this series. Next hitter for the Cubs, Jose Vizcaíno. Incidentally, this is a late starting game here in Chicago, and because of that, the Shadows are approaching home plate already, and that's got to be an advantage for the pitchers in about 10-15 minutes from now.
As soon as the Shadows get out in front of home plate, it becomes much more difficult to hit in this ballpark. The reason being, as the ball is in flight to home plate, when it hits that darker shaded area, it actually has a tendency to appear to the batter to disappear for just a split second.
Here's a base hit for Vizcaíno. Nice job to get over there, Thompson, to cut it off. And Vizcaíno, the number 8 hitter, is 2 for 2. Chicago's 5th hit of the afternoon.
And twice this afternoon, Vizcaíno with 2 outs and nobody on, able to get a ball and get a base hit. Here, not a bad pitch by Schilling, down and away, but Vizcaíno just stays with it and slaps it into left field. Milt Thompson, who was playing shallow, did a nice job of getting over and cutting that ball off. Vizcaíno with not a whole lot of power to the opposite way, but he did get it started toward the gap, and Milt did a nice job of cutting it off. So Vizcaíno gets Guzman back to the plate again.
Yeah, that's an advantage, even if nothing else happens in the inning, that you get your pitcher out of the way and start fresh at the top of the order next inning. Jose grounded one back to Schilling in his only at bat today.
This is turning out to be a little bit of a tough inning for Darren Dalton. Earlier when Wilkins was at the plate, one of those pitches in the dirt bit him on the throwing hand, and this pitch here fouled off and jumped up and bounced off the Dutch. So catchers you get in streaks like this when you're a catcher. You'll go along for weeks and you'll never get hit with a foul tip, and all of a sudden one game you'll get hit 15 times. Dutch is starting to think to himself, I hope this is not going to be one of those afternoons.
Talking to Darren about that very thing the other day, he's got a deep bruise on one of his thighs. He says, fortunately I don't get black and blue, but he says it really does hurt, and he's had that since the early part of the regular season. Weak swing by Guzman. 1-2 the count.
I'll tell you what, the catchers, they will complain about those things, but to go back there and play that position, you really have to like getting hit with the ball. There's something about the mentality of a catcher. You have to like it.
Hey, did you see that thing in the paper the other day? It says catchers are among the lowest paid players in baseball.
That's because they get to sit down the whole game. Everybody else gets to stand up.
And
it's the easiest position to play.
First basemen are the highest paid. I thought that was easy out there too. Everybody says how easy first base is.
Well, I only think that pitchers are underpaid. Every pitch of the game, the pitcher has to work. The rest of the guys, they just, well, most of the pitchers, sometimes you get to sit down.
Well, you were underpaid, Teak, because you played a decade too early. I'll give you that. Uh-oh, that's a foul ball, and it nearly claimed the ump at first, Wally Bell. Wally Bell. That was bearing in on Wally.
Smile on his face. He had to do a little two-step to get out of the way of that one. You don't think his buddies on his umpiring crew have a little something to say to him about how gracefully he got out of the way of that?
Probably. Little chopper. This could be tough. But Schilling makes the play. Scrambles after it. For Chicago in the fourth. No runs, one hit. They leave one after 4. 2-1 Cubs.
Where to find the Mountain Man. A mountain man can often be found on the trail of adventure, in search of remote watering holes, or weathering harsh climates. Most often, however, you'll find the mountain man wherever you find smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and find yourself in the wide, open world of the mountain man.
Some people will only go to Texaco. Why?
Why? Are you kidding? Look at this cab. It's as clean as my fuel injectors.
System 3 gasoline helps restore performance to older models. I know about that. And Doritos. Ha ha!
Everybody gets what they want. Tommy gets pretzels, Dawn gets juice, Van gets System 3.
Visit your Texaco station and Food Mart for unbeatable System 3 gasolines and so much more.
I always come here to fill up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right now, you can lease the fun-to-drive Nissan 240SX for only $1,000 down and just $199 a month. Who says you can't always get what you want? The 240SX lease only at your Nissan dealer, but only for a very short time. Right now, you can lease the 300ZX, the sports car of sports cars, for the payment of payments. Only $1,800 down and just $399 a month. The Z lease only at your Nissan dealer, but only for a very short time.
While you're enjoying some of the comforts of home, remember, your home can give you lots of other comforts. Like a way to consolidate all your bills and loans. Mellon PSFS Home Equity Loans.
Old style, a tradition here at Wrigley Field where the Cubs are ahead 2-1. Jeff Mariello from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Now a student here at Northwestern says hi to his friends back home. And Mike and Kelly from South Philadelphia say hi to Mom and Dad and happy birthday to Grandma. John Kruk has been a strikeout victim twice, once swinging and once he looked at a called third strike. Guzman's won the guessing game with Kruk so far. John's second in the league in hits with 16. Cubs are on top 2-1 in the fifth. In play for Guzman. Kruk is out, one away. Now the next two batters coming up have received 4 walks from Guzman. 2 for Hollins, 2 for Dalton. Here he faces them though with the bases empty, and I'm sure he'll be going after them. Hollins has scored the only Phillies run across the plate on a wild pitch in the 3rd inning, thus creating the first earned run all year that Jose Guzman has given up.
Ball 1.
Nothing unusual there with Hollins up there trying to extend his 5-game hitting streak.
Ball 2.
Hollins did get a hit off Guzman at the vet on Sunday. Ball 3. I don't mean to steal your thunder, but
you beat me to it.
Billy Connor says, what's going on around here?
What is it with these guys?
Oh, that is is strange, isn't it? 3 straight walks for Hollins. The 6th walk issued by Guzman.
Guzman having a little meeting with himself on the side of the mound right now. I think he thought that last pitch was pretty close, but when you're spraying balls all over the place, you have a tendency not to get calls from umpires.
Darren Daulton, 2 straight walks. So 6 batters walked in the game, and 5 of them have gone to these 2 hitters, Hollins and Daulton. It still looks strange to see that name on the back of those Cub uniforms. First year for it.
Talking the other day about the Cubs, the tradition for years, ever since the National League, gave the option to the clubs. Most clubs went to putting the names on the uniforms right away. The Cubs, of course, traditionally stayed away from it. So this year, the Cubs go and put the uniform names on the back, and the club that does not have the names on the back is the Colorado Rockies, and that's a club that probably should have their names on because nobody knows any of those guys.
Yeah. But they're saving a big sewing bill by not doing it. They're going to make some roster changes out there, I'll bet you. Florida has them on. Phillies players are anxious to make their first stops in these areas. Many of them have played there, of course, as minor leaguers, so it's it's not going to be a real mystery, but to see the enthusiasm of these new franchises as they open up is really going to be interesting this year.
A lot of players have played in Denver in the American Association. Now, nobody has played in Joe Robbie Stadium, of course, in Miami.
Phillies almost did last year. Their final game of Florida was scheduled in Joe Robbie Stadium, and we sat there and watched it rain for a couple of hours on a Friday afternoon.
Which is something you may have to get used to.
Yeah, that's right.
There's this perennial afternoon rain in Miami. It seems to show up about 3 or 4 o'clock every day.
You wouldn't want to schedule too much extra BP for down there. 2-2 on Daulton. Phillies have won 5 of their last 6. They still lead the NL East by a game. Cardinals and Pirates both losers on the West Coast last night. Foul away. Jose Guzman, he was unbelievable in that first start of his against Atlanta, where he was just mowing them down. He had a perfect game going into the 8th, as I recall. And then, of course, his no-hit bid ended with just 1 out to go. Otis Nixon.
And they said the 1 walk that he did issue was a very questionable call. So it was a borderline pitch that Guzman did not get, or he could have possibly gone into that 9th inning with a perfect game intact.
Breaking ball to Darren on a 2-2 count. He missed with it. Full count. Well,
full count now will give David Hollins the opportunity at first base to be on the move.
1 out in the inning. The on-deck hitter is Thompson.
Dutch should be able to get one in the gap. Hollins having a better chance to score.
Fouled it away. Hollins did go. Phillies back home to play the San Diego Padres starting on Tuesday night. Tommy Green will start that game Tuesday. Ben Rivera will be the starter on Wednesday night. We'll have that one for you on Sports Channel. Terry Mulholland will start on Thursday night. PHL 17 will be televising Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Benjamin Hollins with a chance to go on a 3-2 count. Of course, only 1 out in the inning. But with Guzman having the control trouble he's had, and Dutch being a pretty good contact hitter at the plate, a good opportunity to move the runner.
Hollins goes again. Strike 3 call. The inning. Let's see. He's out. It's a strikeout double play. Hollins caught stealing as Wilkins throws out his 4th of the year. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel.
Major League Baseball Home Video presents baseball's funniest bloopers. Hey, fans, you'll be bowled over by this highly revealing romp. Then we'll sprinkle in some bite-sized fun, just enough to tickle your funny bone. Now, if you want to sink your teeth into baseball's funniest bloopers, just call this number and order. Baseball's funniest bloopers is 35 minutes of laughter and a whole lot of Major League mess-ups. So pick one up today. If you're a rookie squirt, ask for help. Ouch! If you're a Major League squirt, grab a pen and paper. Any paper. To order for just $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change. Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company. The Pennsylvania Lottery is a participating advertiser in Phillies baseball. Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Wrigley Field, much larger crowd than yesterday afternoon as we go to the bottom half of the fifth. A much nicer day, even though it's not a whole lot warmer. And let's watch that strikeout double play.
You mentioned Guzman's been spraying the ball all over the place here on a 3-2 count. Makes a perfect pitch on the inside corner. Hollins is moving with the pitch, takes a look back, sees that strike 3 on the inside to Dutch. Goes head first into second, but a good strong throw by Wilkins. Right on the money. Look at this, knee high, right on the first base side of the bag. You can't throw it any better than that.
Maybe that answers the question that we were asking earlier of why Wilkins over Girardi, huh?
That had to fit into the equation, I'm sure. Rick Wilkins with a very strong, accurate throw to second base, even with that little lump on his chin.
The hitter is Smith, who has homered and struck out. Cubs maintain their 2-1 lead. 2 solo home runs. He has one, and Sammy Sosa hit the other one. Schilling's 2-0 pitch. Top of the lineup for the Cubs. Rio pitch. Schilling has walked one. He walked Mark Grace in the third. On the ground for Morandini. White Smith is out. One down here in the fifth inning.
Nice job by Kurt coming back from a 3-0 count and getting Smith on the ground ball to second base. As we mentioned earlier, the thump in this in the Cub lineup is in the middle, and you want to keep Smith and Sanchez off the base before those big guys in the middle get to the plate. So after falling behind 3-0, Kurt does a nice job of coming back and retiring Smith, the first batter of the inning.
Sanchez got a hit last time up. He's 1 for 2, flat out to right, his first at bat. Gets jammed here, deposits it down the right field line, foul ball. That was going to be real trouble. About a foot to the left, and it would have been extra bases. Kurt Schilling, a history buff. Schilling's an interesting guy. There are many things that interest him. He's a World War II history buff. He contributes articles on that subject sometimes to a publication called Fire and Effect.
Well, he fired right there, but he didn't get the effect that he wanted. Pretty good pitch down and in. Sanchez is frozen. Appears to be, possibly just a little bit low, but a pretty good pitch.
You have seen that call to strike at times. Morandini makes the play. Sanchez is out, 2 down in the Chicago fifth. Here's the way you like to see Mark Grace come up there. Base is empty, 2 outs. Grace today has not yet extended his hitting streak. He comes in with a 9-gamer, but today he's hit one to the mound and walked. Line drive to Bell. And the Cubs go in order for the first time today. At the end of 5, 2-1 Chicago.
May I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'll have a Coca-Cola.
You sure you want a Coke?
Yeah, I want a Coke.
Okay, pal.
Oh!
Why did you order Coke? It tastes good.
Didn't care if it was a Coke. You just want to
I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. Need a drink, sir? I'll just have a... I'll just have a... I'll just have a Coke.
Ooh.
Hear that, guys? A Coca-Cola. See ya, pal. Oh.
I'm a real wild one. Wild one.
When it comes to clean, fresh taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Southport.
Bud Light delivers.
You don't just watch a Phillies game. You experience a Phillies game. Big fun, lots of laughs. It's the Fanatics' birthday, Sunday, April 25th, when the Phillies play the Dodgers at 1:35. Free Fanatic baseball caps for all fans 14 and under, compliments of Tasty Cake. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
A week from tonight, the Dodgers will be at Veterans Stadium to meet the Phillies at 7:05, and we've got a card book for you. This goes to all young fans, compliments of Donruss, all fans 14 and under. So make your plans early, mark your calendar now, and come on in and see the Dodgers next Saturday night. Looks like maybe Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis are just starting to hit a bit. They really were cold at the outset of the year. Milt Thompson leads it off for the Phillies. Cubs ahead 2-1. Milt grounds one to shortstop. Sanchez gobbles it up and throws him out. Thompson goes on one pitch. That's something Guzman needs. He's made a lot of pitches in this ball game. He'll take any one pitch batters he can get.
As I mentioned earlier, the shadow is moving out across the home plate area now. Now they've split the difference between the mound and home plate, so hitting will be difficult here for the next 15 or 20 minutes until those shadows pass beyond the pitcher.
Wes Chamberlain. Wes is 1 for 2, has singled and grounded out to third base. Monday night at the Franklin Plaza in Philadelphia, Bill Giles will be honored as the Powell Man of the Year, and we're all looking forward to that dinner. Teak, I know you're going to be there, and then you and I, of course, will do the game Wednesday night on Sports Channel from Veterans Stadium. Our congratulations to Bill Giles. He has been a mover and shaker in the Philadelphia community for quite a few years.
And a very worthy recipient.
You bet. Chamberlain trying to impress the home folks. He's from Chicago. Hits the ball a ton to left field. Will the park hold this one? Great, it will. May with enough room to catch it. Chamberlain is out.
Juan Guzman on his 101st pitch of the game leaves one up in the zone. West just gets underneath it just a little bit. He had it all lined up. He just got underneath it just a shade. Not able to quite get it in the basket in left field. The wind blowing right to left gave it a little bit of a push, but not quite enough to get it out. Derek May able to go back and make the catch.
Base is empty, 2 away for Juan Bell. Bell has fouled to third, grounded to first. Breaking ball for a strike. Pulls a bunt hard to Grace, and he's out. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Phillies go in order. We move to the bottom of the 6th, and it's still 2-1 Cubs.
This unparalleled motion picture will take you on a breathtaking adventure into a remarkable triumph of the heart. Discover its uplifting power, the power of one.
You've driven these streets 1,000 times.
But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, you're using Exxon 93 Supreme gasoline for a cleaner engine, smooth acceleration, and a full 93 octane.
Let the tiger set you free.
Rely on Exxon Supreme.
Rely on the tiger.
Hi, I'm Mickey Morandini of the Phillies. When I make the plays at second base, I depend on my Rawlings glove. It's a choice of the pros. At Gold Medal Sporting Goods, you'll find a great selection of Rawlings gloves, balls, and equipment. Plus, Gold Medal is the official retail outlets of the Phillies. So team up with Rawlings and me at any one of the Gold Medal Sporting Goods stores in the Delaware Valley, where you'll find the best service, selection, and prices around.
Here's one to mark on your calendar. Sunday, May 9th, 1:35. Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals, and a terrific red and white umbrella for all women 15 and over featuring the Phillies logo. This compliments of MAB Paints. This is a brand new gift item and a good looking one. So mark your calendar and call 463-1000 to get your tickets, or you can stop by the Bet Stadium ticket office. Bottom of the 6th inning, and Derek May leads it off for Chicago. Cubs ahead by a 2-1 score. May is 0 for 2 today. He's twice grounded out to first base. Derek grew up about 30 miles from Veterans Stadium, Newark, Delaware. Used to come to the vet quite a bit as a youth. Puck can't get it. It's a base hit for May. Hit number 6 for Chicago, a Derek May single.
Here we see the pitch from Schilling again up in the strike zone. It feels as if the pitches that Schilling has been hit hard on are the ones that are up in the strike zone. When the ball's down, the Cubs hitters have had very little success, just out of the reach of John Kruk at first base.
In steps Sammy Sosa, homered his first time up, grounded out to Kruk second time up. Sosa hit his home run into the bleachers in left center. Ground ball, and it's a base hit. May will stop at second base, and the first time in the ball game the Cubs have had back-to-back hits. Phillies are going to get some bullpen action now. Curt Schilling has given up his 7th hit. He's getting up.
Ball string, like David West and Bob Arol.
Yep.
Taking the jackets off. Grabbing the baseballs and getting ready to go to work.
Here's Buechele. Steve twice has grounded to shortstop. Phillies could use one of them right now and turn a double play. 2 on, nobody out. Schilling got that pitch up a little bit too.
Yeah, Buechele, a good candidate for a double play. We saw yesterday when he tried to score from first base on the ball hit to the wall in left center field. Does not move real well around the base paths. So if Kurt can induce him into hitting a ground ball to one of the infielders, pretty good chance that you're going to get 2.
And we saw the infield turn one yesterday. Steve Lake was the batter. That catches the inside corner. Buechele was giving ground, and he can't believe the call. 0-2 on Steve.
You see Dutch setting up on the inside part of the plate. Kurt putting it right there. Buechele appeared as if he was looking for a breaking ball away and was going to try to lean out. And when you do that, you end up moving the strike zone on yourself and tricking yourself as far as what the location is.
Just missed. 1-2. Schilling again tying a shoelace. Same one too.
Little shoe problem. Quickly repaired.
Pop up over toward the bullpen. Kruk over, won't have quite enough room. Out of reach. Still 1-2 on Steve Buechele.
just thinking with seeing Kurt Schilling out there tying those shoelaces, you know, you don't realize how important having your shoes tied tight are to a pitcher, because you need your foot to plant and stay solid where you put it. You don't want your foot sliding around on the inside of the shoe, because it will affect your footing on the throw to home plate.
Jammed him.
You always see the pitchers out there kicking the dirt around the mound because you don't want to hit him on those soft spots and have your foot slide as you land on it. Well, you also don't want your foot moving around inside your shoe, so you cinch those laces up pretty tight and make sure those shoes are fitting nice and tight. Give you that good solid base when you're throwing the ball to home plate.
Schilling checks the runners. Here's a ground ball. This could be two. There's one. If he got him. No, he didn't get him. He didn't tag him. They get only the out at first base. Jim Fregosi's going to argue the play. Jim's going to argue he ran out of the baseline.
This will be very easy to tell on the replay whether he did or not, because that grass cut part of the infield is 3 feet inside the baseline. So you're allowed to move within 3 feet of the baseline, not beyond that, to avoid a tag. Jim Fregosi obviously believes that the base runner Sosa went inside too far to avoid the tag, and therefore should be called out by second base umpire Larry Vanover. He's obviously not getting the answer that he wants.
Well, at least they're both listening to one another anyway.
Well, I think Vanover's doing most of the listening at this point in time. Fregosi seems to be doing the one that's giving the lecture.
Let's take a look at it and see whether we can figure out whether he did go out of the baselines or not.
Let's see, Morandini comes and gets the ball.
Ooh.
Comes forward.
Oh.
Sosa way to the inside, way in on the grass. No doubt he's out of the baseline trying to avoid the tag. Now, you can go in there and run wherever you want to going to second base, as long as you're not trying to avoid a tag, but you're not allowed to go out of that 6-foot lane, 3 feet on each side of the bag, to avoid a tag. If you do go in that area, you're automatically called out.
Well, Jimmy's got a good point. Only thing is, he's liable to have to move up his dinner reservation if he's not careful here.
Now he takes his case and is going to plead it with Harry Wendelstadt, the senior member of this umpiring crew. And, you know, as long as this is going on and as little as the umpires are saying, I think, you know, you get the realization that somebody realizes Jim Fregosi might have a real good case here. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of fighting back coming from the umpires. They're pretty much just sitting there and letting Jim have his say.
In order for one of the umpires to overrule the other, though, the other umpire has to ask for help. And in order for Vanover to ask for help, regardless of whether Fregosi makes his point with Wendelstadt or not, Vanover's got to, you know, question his own call.
And at this point, Vanover is not questioned at all. Now, Larry is in perfect position. He's on the infield grass. You see it right here. Sosa running directly toward him. Now, he sees that Morandini does not make the tag, but Sosa clearly way inside on the grass on the infield. Mickey, you know, once he sees that Sosa goes inside, doesn't pursue that play anymore and goes to first base and gets the sure out at first base. But that play, in my opinion, was blown by Larry Vanover. That was a definite infringement of the rules, and Sosa definitely was out of the baseline avoiding the tag.
The batter is Wilkins. They're going to walk him. Jim Fregosi, all that time he was arguing, he was thinking of his strategy too. He walked right in the dugout and said, yeah, walk him. So that'll load him up. When they get done with the walk here, Chuck McElroy, left-hander, loosening in the Cubs bullpen. Cubs lead it 2-1. Certainly they want to get something out of this. The left-handed batting catcher Wilkins is going to receive this free pass. It'll be only the second walk of the day issued by Schilling. Vizcaíno, who is 2 for 2, will come up. Now this will load the bases in a 1-run ball game. Jim Fregosi is still hot. I mean, Jim knows he's right.
And I think he knows that somebody else knows he's right, because he didn't get much of an argument.
Yeah.
There was not a whole lot of return on the conversation. It was a one-way conversation.
just sense the frustration. There's no doubt about it. Vizcaíno in now. He's twice single to left field. Bases are loaded. There's one out. They've got Guzman out on the on-deck circle, but it's questionable whether he will bat. That's why McElroy's up. And a lot of it depends on what Vizcaíno does. If he gets a couple in here, then maybe Guzman would bat. If he doesn't, undoubtedly they'll go to a pinch hitter.
Phillies infield playing for two in the middle, playing up on the corners with Bell and Morandini playing for two.
You can tell that batters are not seeing the ball real well right now.
The shadows are now almost all the way out to the mound. Another 10 minutes or so. Once those shadows go beyond the pitcher, it will become a little bit easier. It's still difficult because the field is lit behind, but will become a little bit easier because the ball will stay the same shade all the way in.
Close. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Vizcaíno. Schilling trying to pitch out of a jam here. Ball gets free out of the Phillies bullpen. Time is called. Ball rolls out behind there. You can see it.
Vizcaíno on that last pitch showing some pretty good patience taking that pitch just off the plate. Not known for his discipline at home plate, to say the least. Might be a good idea to go right back there again.
Darren held the ball, wanting the call. Didn't hear anything. 2-2.
First pitch was just a shade outside. This one appears to be just a shade low. Tell you what, that's hard to take, those two pitches right there.
I'll tell you. Another one that's awfully close.
I don't know about that one. Randy Marsh, the home plate umpire, must be saying a distance a little bit high. He did not read the memo about expanding the strike zone this year.
Apparently not. Foul out of play off the 3-2 count. Do you think they have expanded the strike zone this year?
I haven't seen it. It appears to be the same strike zone to me that we've had in the past. Now, I have heard rumors that the American League seems that some of their umpires have expanded a little bit, but I have not seen it in any of the national games.
Out of play again. All the while, this is a 2-1 ball game. Cubs, and they haven't scored since the second inning. The Cubs scored in the first inning yesterday and then didn't score all afternoon long. And won that game 3-1 over the Phillies. We got troubles. 1 run scores. Here's another coming to the plate. He scores. Play to third. Late. Vizcaíno with his 3rd hit of the ball game, and the Cubs lead 4-1. Well, the lack of turning that double play is really costly at this point.
Really costly. Plus, you know, Curt Schilling made some tremendous pitches out in front. No balls and 2 strikes on Vizcaíno. Made 3 quality pitches. Did not get the call on any of them. Thought he could possibly get a call. Finally, at 3-2, of course, he has to give up a little bit of strike zone. This one is actually higher than the one that was called a ball, but Vizcaíno gets on top of it and hammers it into right field for a base hit and drives in a couple runs.
Willie Wilson will be the pinch hitter now. Wilson. And he's not going to face Schilling. Here comes Jim Fregosi out of the dugout. And look at Jimmy is really going to let him have it now. It's because of that non-turn double play. He wants West in the ball game. Pitching change at Wrigley Field. 4-1 Cubs in the 6th. We'll be right back.
If you want your car done right, it has to be done by the right people.
We take care of our customers. We do the job right.
Quality all the way.
Experience counts. The customer comes first. Satisfaction guaranteed.
We're only as good as our people. That's why Jiffy Lube is America's favorite oil change.
We got experience at Jiffy Lube.
Honey, I'm home. Sherry? Huh.
Hope I didn't forget. Forget what? I took out the garbage. I wanted the plants. Hi, buddy. What could I forget? Anniversary, birthday. No, I'm okay. I'm covered.
The first digit.
Her number. I forgot to play her number. No, oh, no, please. I don't believe it. Oh, not tonight!
7.
Don't forget to play every day, because you could win any night.
Bert sells balloons. Bob sells balloons. Bert sells wacky gifts. Bob sells wacky gifts. Bert delivers. Bob delivers. So if Bob's got everything Bert's got, why is Bert busy and Bob not? Now, do you suppose Bert's got a big color ad in the book 9 out of 10 people use? The genuine Belle of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Belle Atlantic cover.
For all the thousands of words already written about the revolutionary Dodge Intrepid, Automobile Magazine managed to sum it up in just 4. Intrepid. This changes everything.
28-year-old left-hander David West comes into his 4th ball game that ties Jose De Leon for leadership among the Phillies setup men. West with a 4.15 earned run average, and the pinch hitter for the Cubs is Willie Wilson. Cubs ahead 4-1, still just 1 out in the inning, and Cubs at 1st and 3rd. Wilson just 3 for his last 21. West jams him on a pitch, strike 1. Wilson batting .282, has yet to drive in a run since joining the Cubs.
Phillies defensively again was playing up on the corners. Kruk holding at first base, Hollins up at 3rd, and middle of the infield, Bell and Morandini still playing at double play depth.
1-1. That's Rick Wilkins at 3rd base. Viz Caino is at 1st base. Wilson swing and a miss. Dalton dropped it, but recovers quickly. 1-2 on Willie. Willie Wilson, 37 years old. The active major league leader in triples. Willie has hit 142 triples in his career.
And it doesn't take him very long to get there either.
He can still fly.
Oh.
Foul.
Wilson's speed not quite what it used to be, but not bad.
He's the American League stolen base percentage leader. In the AL, his stolen base percentage over his career was .883. 15 straight years of 20 steals or more. He goes out of the strike zone and strikes out. That's a nice job by West to come in and strike out Willie Wilson. 2nd out.
West had been inside a couple times, goes up and out over the plate. Wilson really swung at a bad pitch right there. That was up and out of the strike zone.
Candy Maldonado is going to come out and bat for Dwight Smith. I know this is going to sound strange now, but this is an offensive and a defensive move. I say it sounds strange because of that ball that Maldonado dropped at Veterans Stadium, but he is a better outfielder than Smith.
Well, Jim Lefevre getting 2 benefits out of this move, and now have to see what if Jim Fregosi wants to counter with Bob Awald or if he wants to stay with David West.
Candy Maldonado has not been hitting much at all. 105 is his average. He has driven in 3 runs. He has 2 hits and 19 at bats, including a double. Has struck out 10 of the 19 times he's been up there. First and 3rd, 2 outs. Cubs with 2 runs on the board in the inning and lead 4-1. He jams Maldonado. It's low. Maldonado has 9 pinch hit home runs. That is the top number among all active major leaguers right now. 9 pinch homers. Candy last year wore the uniform of the Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, he's been in the National League before. In fact, in a game in August way back in 1985, he went 5 for 6 against the Phillies, including a home run. He was playing for the Dodgers then, and the Dodgers beat the Phillies 15-6. A big night by Candy. That's ball 3. It's 3-1 on the pinch hitter Maldonado. He's the 7th Cub to come to the plate here in the 6th inning. Sanchez will be next. Phillies hope that's next inning.
And Jimmy Lefebvre here really, this is his last offensive move off of his bench. The rest of the players they have on his bench are more one-dimensional defensive type players. So putting all his eggs in one basket, trying to get as much offense as he can out of this inning.
That's a strike. Full count on Maldonado. Candy, 32 years of age now. He is from Puerto Rico.
3 ball, 1 strike count. David West comes back with a good breaking ball down and in. I don't know if that was David's idea or Dutch's, but it was a tremendous result. Good breaking ball down and in.
Down the right field line and out of play. Running on the pitch was Vizcaíno from first base. Boy, he's had a big day. 3 for 3, including 2 runs batted in. Vizcaíno came into the ball game hitting .212. But a guy who has hurt the Phillies considerably over the years. He was batting .298 lifetime against the Phillies before his 3 for 3 today.
And we've just seen a 3-1 breaking ball by David West and a 3-2 breaking ball that Maldonado fouled off. I think what the Phillies are telling Maldonado is, with Sanchez on deck, you're going to have to earn your base hit if you're going to get it.
Walked him. And the Cubs have him loaded.
Not the worst thing that could happen in that situation.
No.
Maldonado, the dangerous hitter he is at the plate, and Sanchez on deck, puts an extra runner in scoring position. But you're looking at this point to get out of this inning without any more runs being scored. Too many more runs in this ball game gets really lopsided.
Here's Sanchez. He's had a hit today. He's 1 for 3. He's single in the 3rd inning.
Now the key is, when you do that, you have to go and get this guy.
West is going to continue to work from the stretch. Low and inside a ball. Is this always pitcher's choice, how you work when the bases are loaded?
Pretty much. The pitcher should just work whichever way he's more comfortable. Now if it gets to a 3-2 count, you would have a tendency to go to the stretch, but West, feeling that he's been throwing out of the stretch all along, might as well stay right with it.
Sanchez taking a good eye. 2-0 on Sanchez. He leads the National League in sacrifices. Sanchez has sacrificed 3 times. No bunt here. There are 2 outs. Cubs ahead 4-1 in the 6th. The 8th batter to hit this inning for Chicago. Fist job, base hit. Cubs are going to get 2 out of this. 6-1 Chicago, and they've batted around.
David West, after walking Maldonado, which like I said, was not a bad move, goes 2 balls and no strikes to Sanchez and has to come up in the strike zone. Pretty much just trying to pound the ball. He does get it on the inside part of the plate, but Sanchez gets the hands through quickly and jams it up the middle for a base hit. That whole at bat, though, is set up by the fact that West fell behind 2 balls and no strikes and let Sanchez have a pitch that he could handle.
Here's Mark Grace, who does not have a hit in the ball game. Mark is 0 for 2 with his 9-game hitting streak. Well, Sanchez had driven in only 1 run in the Cubs' first 10 ball games, and he drives in 2 with that shot up the middle. Grace fouls it, and it's 0-2 on Mark. Grace doesn't have the ball out of the infield today. Hit one back to the mound, walked, and lined to short.
Of course, I'm sure we talked about Jim Fregosi doing the burn before. He's really doing the burn now, because This damage would have been very, very minimal had it, that double play been called. So whatever intensity of heat he had in his body, it's just gone up a couple degrees.
True. Gray strikes out to end the inning, but the Cubs bat around. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 men left on base, and the Cubs hold a 6-1 lead.
I think you're looking for something.
He's every woman's fantasy.
He kept whispering to me to be loud, and I couldn't stop.
And every woman's nightmare.
He's scaring me.
Scaring yourself.
To trap him.
I'd like to photograph you.
This district attorney will have to make the ultimate sacrifice.
What are you afraid of?
Want to ride?
Patrick Bergen, Sean Young, Love Crimes.
There's a new feeling sweeping the state, peace of mind. Because now people who couldn't afford health coverage can get special care from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's the most affordable coverage available to families and individuals who earn too much for Medicaid but can't afford coverage on their own. If you're uninsured, your peace of mind is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-248-5200.
When good just isn't good enough.
Hey, that's super premium. Do you really think you need that high in octane for your car?
I don't know, but I do know this. I feel my car runs better on premium, and I have other things to worry about.
You don't take any chances, do you?
I figure if I put the best in, I'll get the best out.
So when good just isn't good enough for you, experience our best. Fly with the new superpower, Citgo.
First of 5 business person specials coming up the Tuesday, the April 27th. That's not this Tuesday. That's a week from Tuesday, 12:35. Phillies and the Giants. All the business person specials come your way. Compliments of Mellon PSFS. So start getting your excuses ready. And here's the number to call for your tickets: 215-463-1000. A lot of things happening here, but the Cubs have a 6-1 lead. Ricky Jordan is the pinch hitter for the Phillies, facing left-hander Chuck McElroy, who's the new Cub pitcher. Willie Wilson remained in the game. He's playing in center field for Chicago. McElroy making his 4th appearance. Chuck 1-0. His victory coming against the Phillies. No earned run average yet for Chuck. Jordan with a 14-game hitting streak. He finished last year with a 12-gamer, and he got hits his first 2 times up this year in pinch hitting roles. And then he's walked a couple of times, and yesterday he was an announced pinch hitter but never actually got to the plate. McElroy falls behind him 3-0.
The complexion and the focus of the Phillies has changed now. Before just a 2-1 game. Now it's 6-1. Phillies have to try to come up with one of those big crooked innings, and McElroy starts off by giving him some help, walking Jordan on 4 pitches.
Can you imagine what be going through the mind of Jim Lefebvre, where you've got 5-run lead now, and McElroy comes in and issues a leadoff walk, and now you cycle the lineup, and there's Lefebvre. Dykstra will be the hitter. Lenny 1 for 3 today. Bobby Arol up in the Phillies bullpen. Phillies are going to need a new pitcher in the bottom of the 7th. Lenny lined to first, fly to left, single to center.
Five in a row for McElroy. And Billy Connors immediately pops out of the Chicago dugout.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if within a few seconds we see somebody else pop out and start heading down toward the Cubs bullpen.
Yes, and it might well be a right-hander too. The Phillies have plenty of right-handed bats to bring off the bench. They still have Duncan and Incaviglia to bat.
The only problem being that the Cubs are a little short on the right side of their bullpen. Bob Scanlon, who pitched yesterday, and Jose Bautista are the only 2 right-handed relievers they have. I mentioned earlier the 4 left-handers.
Another ball, 6 in a row since McElroy has come on. McElroy was the winner at Veterans Stadium opening day for the Phillies. There's a strike. And the fans applaud. They are going to get somebody up. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Another lefty, Assenmacher. He was shaky yesterday for the Cubs. Lenny walks, back-to-back walks after the Cubs get a 4-run inning. That's 8 walks from the Cubs pitching staff today, and the Phillies have scored 1 run.
And when you're down by 5 runs, you're looking for a little help, and it couldn't come at a better time, because now McElroy walking Jordan and Dykstra has moved the Phillies in a position where, you know, they can get the middle of that lineup back up to the plate with some men on base. We talked about how dangerous the Cubs middle of the lineup is. Well, Kruk, Hollins, Dalton, that's not too bad either. That matches up pretty good with anybody in the league.
So we don't recommend you give up on this one just yet. Here's Morandini, has a double today. Mickey is 1 for 3. 2 on, nobody out. That's low, ball 1. Wilkins fighting it.
Wilkins fighting it, Lefebvre fighting it, and most importantly, McElroy fighting it.
Chuck's been so sharp until now. We mentioned he does not have an earned run average. Another ball, 2-0. Phillies are doing the right things too, Teak. They're
allowing McElroy to cause his own problems.
That's right. If he wants to be wild, let him. Make him throw a strike. Ball 3.
I can tell you right now from experience, Chuck McElroy, that plate looks like it's about the size of a postage stamp, and it's about 50 miles away.
Yeah, and those guys are looking down on the bullpen and saying, is Assenmacher ready yet?
And he's got Bob Scanlon up with him now, so dual action down there.
There's a strike. Three-one pitch. Ball 4. They are loaded on walks. So the Phillies, who just gave up 4 and trailed 6-1 in the game, can see a comeback brewing here.
Jim Lefebvre doesn't like it right now because the Phillies are right where they want to be. Bases loaded, nobody out, and your 3, 4, 5 hitters coming to the plate.
He sends Buechele to the mound. I think he's going to bring in Assenmacher. Yes, here he comes. And he just wants to make sure that Paul is ready. Well, McElroy faces 3 batters and walks them all. Assenmacher in yesterday's game got 1 out but gave up 3 hits.
McElroy just shaking his head.
This is where they want, if they're going to speed up ball games, this is where they've got to do it right here. And we are going to get a pitching change, which doesn't surprise us at all. I don't know why Jimmy was taking so much time. Pitching change at Wrigley Field in Chicago. 6-1 Cubs, but don't go away. We'll be right back.
To solve a murder, he stepped into the dead man's shoes.
Spencer have a first name?
He can call himself Bob.
Officially, I don't exist. Here you go.
He followed the trail to White Sands.
This is about creating enemies when there aren't any.
I don't ever get involved in these kinds of deals.
Give $500,000 to a man you don't even know?
Where truth is the ultimate disguise.
I've never met anyone like you. You're honest. Even when you're lying.
Willem Dafoe, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and Mickey Rourke. White Sands.
the most dangerous place to be.
McElroy asking where did it all go wrong. He comes in and faces 3 hitters and walks each to load the bases. Did not get an out. And the Phillies, who trail 6-1, can see things happening here as Assenmacher makes his 2nd appearance in as many days, and he was shaky yesterday. This is the 5th game for Assenmacher, a 6.23 earned run average, as he has given up 3 runs on 8 hits and just 4 1/3 innings of work this year. A lot of slide balls from this guy, Teak.
Yeah, Assenmacher, a breaking ball pitcher, does have a very high number of strikeouts over his career, pretty close to 1 strikeout per inning. But as you mentioned, he struggled yesterday, and much like McElroy today, he struggled with his control.
Assenmacher matching that strikeout per inning again this year. 4 strikeouts in 4 1/3. John Kruk has had a tough day. John is 0 for 3. He struck out twice and hit one back to the mound. Nobody out as the Phillies hit Kruk, Hollins, and Dalton here. Assenmacher's got his work cut out for him. Scanlon stays up in the Cubs bullpen. We're in the 7th. 6-1 Chicago. Strike.
Assenmacher starts Kruk off with the breaking ball. We noticed yesterday that he didn't throw too many breaking balls. He went to the fastball, and my feeling was at the time that it was because of the coldness and the numbness in his fingers. But he decides to come out today and start right away with that breaking ball. That fastball didn't work too well yesterday.
That's a ball. 1-1. Assenmacher, 32 years of age, hails from Detroit. Home plate umpire Randy Marsh this afternoon. Foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes on John Kruk. Assenmacher has a big contract, and there were reports that the Cubs have been shopping him around both leagues. They are overloaded from the left side. Randy Myers, their closer, they acquired him in the offseason. Dan Plesac, they acquired him in the offseason. McElroy, also a lefty, obviously. Fouled again. Phillies played the Astros. They had 1 left-hander available from their bullpen. How different teams line up. Now Wilkins to the mound. Talk with Assenmacher. This is a heck of a situation to inherit, Teak, when you're a relief pitcher, come in with the bases loaded.
Well, it doesn't get any worse than this. Bases loaded, nobody out. Situationally wise, it's the worst you can be in. But then when you're sitting against the guy that's number 2 in the league in hitting, it makes it even worse. And you can't be real careful with how you work to him, because if you get behind in the count, you're in danger of walking him and walking in a run. So Jim Lefevre and Billy Connors have just kind of put the monkey on Assenmacher's back and said, here, see what you can do with it.
Keep in mind the Phillies have scored just 1 run today, and they got that one on a wild pitch. And walks played a big role in that. They got their 1 run without a hit. Cubs have walked 9 in the ball game. Fouled again by John. Dave Hollins on deck. He's the only Philly to pick up an RBI in this series. Dave with an RBI single in the 8th inning yesterday.
It appears as if Wilkins on the last 2 pitches wanted breaking balls down and away for Kruk, and Assenmacher has hung both of them actually up a little bit too high in the strike zone for Krucker to be able to handle. He's fouled them both off, but not the pitches that he really wanted to hit. Wilkins. There he finally gets it down, but he gets it way down and way outside.
So it's 2-2 on John. Kruk back to the mound. 1, 2, 3, double play. Assenmacher inducing a comebacker, and the Cubs get 2 outs.
on John Kruk. Ossenmacher finally gets that breaking ball he was looking for down and off the end of the plate. Krucker hits it right off the end of his bat and hits it right back to Ossenmacher. An easy 1-2-3 double play. So Ossenmacher had the monkey put on his back, and even though he struggled a little bit partway through that at bat, he did get the job done and got it done in spades.
Now here's Hollins batting right-handed. Hollins batting .412 as a right-handed batter. Breaking ball to him, misses, ball one. Hollins has walked each of the 3 times he has been up there today. He has scored the lone Phillies run. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. They've got the luxury of being able to walk Hollins if they want to here, so he'll pitch carefully because Dalton is next and you go left. Hollins has a rip. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ossenmacher trying to do what he couldn't do yesterday. He got only 1 out yesterday. Gave up 3 hits. Today he gets 2 outs on the first batter he faces. I guess it does tend to even out. That's equal.
Eventually.
Hollins line drive, fair ball, 2-run score. Hollins heading for second base. He's got a double, and it's a 6-3 ball game. Hollins with 3 runs batted in the series.
David Hollins out in front of this pitch from Ossenmacher. Catches it out on the end of the bat, but is able to get it over Buechel's head at third base and down the left field line. Nothing really the Cubs could do about that defensively. Just a good bit of hitting by Hollins to get the bat on the ball and put it in a good spot. So the Phillies do finally produce a couple runs of their own doing, even though they did have some help from the Chicago Cubs getting the runners on base in the first place.
Well, everybody who has scored for the Phillies today reached base via a walk. All 3 runs were set up by walks. The Cubs pitchers have walked 9 today. Darren Dalton drew 2 of those walks. Darren struck out last time up. 0-2 on Darren. So it's a 6-3 ball game here in the 7th. The runs that just scored were charged to McElroy. In the air to left and hit well, but not quite well enough. May is back to make the catch. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 2 runs for the Phils, 1 hit, and 1 man left on base. 6-3 Cubs.
My Uncle Ernie loves the Phillies, but he's such a lousy driver, he can never make it to the vet to see him play. He even got his insurance canceled trying. So to get Uncle Ernie off the road and into Veterans Stadium, we got him Prism.
Kruk, Dykstra, Dalton. The Phillies are gearing up for an exciting season, and Prism has 45 games from Veterans Stadium. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get installation for only $4.95 or a free upgrade.
I can't believe Uncle Ernie makes his living as a driving instructor.
Hi, I'm Dick Vermeil with a Blue Cross Blue Shield health tip. True or false? Taking 1 aspirin every other day may cut your risk of a heart attack. True. Studies have shown that for men over 50, 1 aspirin every other day can lower your risk of a heart attack by nearly half. Check with your doctor to make sure aspirin is safe for you.
Kids, this is for you. A dream come true. Once again, Milk Duds Candies and the Phillies are teaming up to offer youngsters 6 to 16 a chance to be a celebrity bat boy or bat girl and win 4 box seat tickets to a game. Pick up an entry form at the advanced ticket windows, the fan accommodations room behind section 224, or look in your Phillies souvenir program. Hurry, this offer is limited. Now a 6-3 ball game. Cubs with the lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And on the mound for the Phillies, right-hander Bob Aralt takes over. Aralt making his first appearance of the year. Aralt's not had an opportunity to do any work at all yet in spring training for the Phillies. He was 2-0 with a 1.80 earned run average in 8 ball games. He had one relief stint where he got him out 6 up and 6 down, causing Mitch Williams to say to him after the ball game, "I don't think I ever did that." Aralt last year was 2-2 for the Phillies, got into 30 ball games, earned run average 3.12 for the Phillies last year. Big guy whose daddy once played professional basketball. His father Jim played for the Detroit Pistons. So Aralt's job is to hold him here, and the Cubs bat May, Sosa, and Buechele here in the 7th inning. 6-3 Chicago leading. Derek May 1 for 3, single his last at bat. The Cubs batted around in the 6th inning when they got 4, and the Phillies answer right back with 2. May takes a strike. May is 1 for 3 in his career facing Aralt.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of control Bob Aralt has after not having pitched in a game since spring training.
Yeah, that's a while ago by now. Jammed him and a looping single to left field. Derek May shaking his hands. He can feel that one. But he'll take the base hit. He's 2 for 4 today. Pretty good pitch by Aralt.
Yeah, Bobby got the pitch inside on May. Talking about location. Fletch looking on the outside part of the plate. The ball is in and actually jams May, but he's able to flare it into left field.
Now hitting Sammy Sosa. Sosa in the ball game, 2 out of 3, single and home run. He scored 2 of the Cubs runs. He has not faced Bobby Aralt in his career. Pop up, foul, and out of play. Strike 1 on Sammy Sosa.
And we've seen a couple of bats from Sosa today. The home run that he hit was a pitch out away from him that he was able to extend and drive the ball to the left center field. The other time he got the ball in on him and hit it very weakly to first base. He appears to be a hitter that likes to get those arms extended, and you can pitch to him on the inside part of the plate.
Takes a late swing at that one, fouling it back. Sosa's played with both Chicago teams in his career. One and 2 on Sosa. Have to think back at all this took such a hunk of time here, but you have to realize that the majority of the afternoon this was just a 2-1 ball game. There goes the runner, and the pitch is low. Here's Dalton's throw. This one sails on him, and a stolen base for Derek May, his first of the year. That's only the second batter to steal a base on the Phillies this year.
Derek May at first base gets a fairly decent jump, not a great jump. The problem being that the ball was in the dirt, and Darren Daulton has to pull the ball out of the dirt, and the throw sails wide to the second base side. A tough play for Dutch on the short hop in the dirt. Number one, having to get the ball out of the glove, and number two, once it's in the dirt, obviously the ball has the dust and the dirt all over it, which has a tendency to have it squirt out of your hand and slide to that right field side.
A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Sosa. Nobody out here in the Cubs 7th. In the air to shallow right field. A long run for Chamberlain. And off the glove of Kruk in foul territory. John Over with a play on the ball, but he couldn't hold it. Chamberlain had a long run. Kruk got back there in a hurry. Look at John dig. Nice try by John.
That's the most difficult play that the first baseman has, is going directly over his head down that right field line. Not only does he have to contend with the sun, which is coming that way, but also the fact that he's running directly away from the ball, and you don't know exactly where that bullpen mound and home plate area are at down there either. You don't know when you're going to hit that. John makes a valiant effort and just has the ball go off the end of his glove.
Struck him out. Bobby Arrold showing some heat.
Jim Fregosi had said during spring training he was a little concerned because Arrold had not been throwing the ball as hard as he thought he had been. There was a quote in the Philadelphia paper about that. I have to believe that Arrold got word of that, because right after that he seemed to tune it up a notch, and he's got the idea now that Jim Fregosi wants to see him let that ball go.
Here's Buechele. It was Buechele who hit into what appeared to be a double play with a runner going out of the baselines. It was not called last time, and that was an integral part of the Cubs scoring 4 runs in the 6th inning. Buechele grounded the ball to second baseman Mickey Morandini, who tried to tag the runner in the base paths, Sosa. Pop-up. This one should be caught in shallow left center. Bell is ranging out, giving way now to Thompson. Milt makes the play, 2 outs. Next hitter, Cubs catcher Rick Wilkins, walked intentionally his last time up in the 6th inning. That didn't work when Vizcaíno and Sanchez came through with hits. He wound up scoring a run. He's 0 for 2. Wilkins, as catcher today, threw out one would-be Steeler, Dave Hollins. That's a strike. 1-1 on the Cubs catcher Rick Wilkins. Wilkins has faced Arrold just once in his career, did not get a hit. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Tickets sold for the game today, 32,680. Ball 3, 3-1.
Bobby Arrold struggling a little bit with his control, and it's understandable since he has not, been in the ball game for quite a while. That's usually the first thing that you're going to have problems with. You still throw the ball hard, but your location is usually off a little bit.
Swing and a miss. Did he miss it? Or did he get a piece of it? He got a piece of it.
In either case, Derek May at second base not able to advance. So Arrold having a little trouble with his control, but Rick Wilkins says, well, I'll give you a little hand.
He didn't get a piece of that. That was a swing and a miss. That's why Dalton scrambled after it.
It was also ball 4.
Yeah, that's right. Now it's 3-2. Ooh.
Behind him.
Really? So Wilkins takes a base, and look at him glaring out at Bobby Arrold. Probably had something to say. We couldn't see from this angle, but he must have had something to say to him. 2 Cubs aboard, and Vizcaíno has been a hot batter today, 3 for 3.
Breaking ball again. This time Wilkins jumps out behind him. And a heck of a play by Darren Dalton to catch that pitch. I mean, he's blocked out completely by Wilkins.
You put the glove where you think it's going to be. Dumped down in the left field. Thompson moving over, and Milt wraps it up. Cubs in the 7th, no runs, 1 hit, they leave 2. It's 6-3 Chicago.
Did you know Texaco puts System 3 in every grade of gasoline?
System 3 gets high marks in every grade, which is a lot better than I ever did.
My dad says Texaco puts System 3 in every grade. I'm in the 4th grade.
Of course. That's why I always fill up with System 3. What do I look like? Don't say it.
Visit your Texaco station.
I can get the tires rotated, the car lubed, and still get home in time for the game.
Mow the lawn.
For unbeatable System 3 gasolines and so much more.
Mow the lawn.
Mow the lawn.
Jim, give me a Bud Light. We're all out.
When it comes to clean, fresh taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, Bud Light delivers.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because it won't fill you up and it never lets you down. So make it a Bud Light. And brought to you by your local Dodge dealers. Come in today because we know how to help. 6-3 Chicago. Phillies batting now in the 8th inning. Jose De Leon is getting up in the Phillies bullpen because the Phillies are hoping that the pitcher spot will come up this inning. He'll be the 4th batter in the inning. Milt Thompson to lead it off. And there's Jose De Leon in the bullpen. He's come in to swoop up a couple of wins this year out of that bullpen. Milt Thompson leads it off. Milt is nothing for 2 plus a walk in today's game. Ossenmacher still hurling for the Cubs. Ossenmacher came in to get all 3 outs in the 7th. He came on with the bases loaded and nobody out. Got the ground ball double play. Vizcaíno makes this play. Thompson is out. Ossenmacher surrendered 1 hit, but the runs were charged to McElroy. Now Wes Chamberlain heading for the plate. Wes is 1 for 3 this afternoon, a single his first time up. Wes hit one pretty good today. That last time up he hit a fly ball deep to left field, but it was caught short of the track. Here's a shot down the line. Fair ball, extra bases. Chamberlain to second. He's got a stand-up double. Phillies' 5th hit of the ball game, and they're 2nd off Ossenmacher.
As you mentioned, the last time up, Chamberlain hit the ball to the track down in left center field. This time hits it on a line into the corner. Derek May doesn't have any choice except to just go over and play it. He spins on this ball nicely. Wes likes to have the ball on the inside part of the plate, the ball that he can pull.
Phillies are going to go to the bench and bring out Mariano Duncan to bat for Juan Bell at this point. Dunk will be the hitter here. Mariano, a .300 hitter with no homers, 1 run batted in. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Then another pinch hitter will follow because that's A-Roll's spot. Might depend on what Duncan does. He's got Incaviglia to bring off the bench if he needs. Here comes Jimmy Lefebvre out. Got a couple on here. You would certainly bring Inky out to bat. We'll see who's going to be the Cubs hurler. Scanlon.
The managerial game of chess has started again now. Jim Fregosi setting up the right-handed hitter, forcing Jim Lefebvre to make a move and counter with his right-handed pitcher. Now, of course, most of Jim Fregosi's bench is right-handed, with the exception of Eisenreich. So this, what it does now is bringing Scanlon into the game, sets up if Lefevre wants to leave Scanlon in the game after one more hitter, after one more pinch hitter, which will now probably be Eisenreich, gets back to that left-handed part of the Philly lineup at the top. So this is a luxury Jim Fregosi did not have last year. He did not have the players on the bench with the ability to make these kinds of moves and force the other manager to counter. Now he does, and we've seen quite a bit of it early in this '93 season.
So Jim able to do a lot more maneuvering than he was a year ago this time. Randy Myers gets up in the Cubs bullpen. They are loaded with left-handers down there, as we've been pointing out. So it's going to be Duncan and Eisenreich to hit here back-to-back. That's Myers, and here is Scanlon coming into the ball game. Scanlon, in his 6th game, he's 0-1, 540 earned run average. Scanlon pitched 2/3 of an inning yesterday, did a nice job. Phillies traded Scanlon to Chicago in the Mitch Williams deal. Scanlon, 26, from Beverly Hills, California. He's a tall one, 6'8", 210 pounds for Scanlon.
Line on Paul Ossenbacher this afternoon, inning and 2/3, 2 hits, both doubles, no strikeouts or walks, and still responsible for Chamberlain at second base.
All right, let's see what Duncan can do with Scanlon. One thing about Mariano, he faces a lot of right-handed pitching, so this is no problem for him. It's true that he does have a terrific lifetime average off lefties, but he's an everyday guy, and so he can face the right-handers as well. Chamberlain at second, 1 out. Mariano pinch hitting for Juan Bell. Scanlon starts his day with a strike. Certainly something that the other guy in that trade for Williams, Chuck McElroy, was not able to do today, as Chuck walked the only 3 batters he faced in this ball game, and 2 of them wound up scoring. Strike again.
Scanlon has now thrown as many strikes in the first 2 pitches as McElroy did in 3 walks. 2.
Ground ball hit to third, fielded by Buechele, holds the runner and gets Duncan. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Buechele played that like the veteran he is. Eisenreich will be the hitter. Jimmy Eisenreich, 1 for 10 as a Philly with 1 run batted in.
Steve Buechele comes in very confidently, just one-hands that ball off to the side. Normally you'd like to see your infielders get in front of the ball, but Buechele's such a good fielder, felt very confident in just grabbing that way, checks the runner at second and throws a strike over the first base.
Eisenreich bats for Bobby Arol, who pitched a scoreless inning. Eisenreich was a pinch hitter in yesterday's ball game, and in the 8th inning hit a high fly ball to right field. Scanlon was the pitcher at that point. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jim Eisenreich. Eisenreich, a fine defensive player. Jim Fregosi says that 9 times out of 10, if we've got the lead, he'll finish the ball game in the outfield, and we've seen that. 4 games in a row in that last homestand, he played the 9th inning in the outfield. Smash to left field. May goes back. He's there. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on base. It continues 6-3 Cubs.
Major League Baseball home video presents...
We're back!
Now it can be heard, the sounds of baseball. This is the baseball video that puts you on the field to hear the game as never before.
They say we got to take the lead right here. Take the lead. First inning.
You're going to put him in jail?
I'm not going to
put him in jail.
Straighten the bat back. You never go.
It up? He's not making it up.
Host Tommy Lasorda takes you behind the closed doors to reveal the secret strategy in team meetings and some Major League Clubhouse practical jokes. Plus, candid moments with today's superstars. Now it can be heard.
Yeah.
Do you want to order?
Yeah.
Well, to order, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
The sports car of sports cars is now the convertible of convertibles. Introducing the 300ZX convertible from Nissan.
April 20, 21, and 22, the Phillies play the Padres, followed by the Dodgers the 23rd and 24th, when fans 14 and under get a free card book, and Sunday, April 25th, for the Fanatic's birthday, when fans 14 and under receive a free baseball cap.
Mariano Duncan stays in. He'll play shortstop for the Phillies, who trail the Cubs by a 6-3 score. Here's the pitcher, Jose De Leon, making his 5th appearance. Jose is 2-0, earned run average 6.23. Wild pitched a couple of runners in the other day in his last appearance. Cubs are going to bat Wilson, Eric Yoeling as a pinch hitter for Ossenmacher, and then Sanchez. So that means the Phillies are going to be facing Randy Myers again in the 9th inning, and Myers has saved 8 straight games against the Phillies, 6 last year and 2 already this year. Myers was 6 for 6 in saves against the Phillies last year. Wilson struck out in his only at bat in this game. Came on as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning, stayed in to play center. Wilson 1 for 1 this year off De Leon. Two balls, 2 strikes. Strung at 1 out of the strike zone. Duncan makes the call and Mariano makes the catch. Ball always finds the newest guy, right, Teak?
You get in the game, the ball will find you immediately. The ball likes to make you feel that you're part of the game. If you stand out there too long and the ball doesn't come and visit you, it feels like you're going to feel lonely. So it comes and finds you right away.
Incredible how often we see that. Here's Eric Yoeling. He's 2 out of 3. All as a pinch hitter for the Cubs this year. Yoeling's job, of course, if he keeps getting hits like that, it's safe, but his job really is in jeopardy when Sandberg's ready to return. De Leon gets a breaking ball over. A bunt. It's foul. 0-2 on pinch hitter Eric Yoeling, batting for Ossenmacher. Yoeling, previous experience in the league with the Astros. Yoeling is 28. He was first drafted by Toronto back in January of '84. He was the 19th player taken in that January draft. One and two. Outside. Yoeling can run. He picked up a lot of stolen bases during his minor league career. Jose with another breaking ball, and it just misses. It's a full count on the pinch hitter Yelding. Three-two pitch coming. Yelding takes a swat and sends it out into Milt Thompson territory. Second out of the inning.
Thank you very much, Eric Yelding. Ball 4 out of the strike zone.
And look who's getting up in the Phillies bullpen. Maybe just to amuse himself, who knows. Number 99. These fans don't know him. He was 28 when he had a Cub uniform on. Mitch Williams. Here's Sanchez. He got a 2-run single in the 6th inning. He's 2 for 4 today, and they were the final 2 Cub runs to score, runs numbers 5 and 6, so they really hurt. Ball and a strike on Sanchez. Cubs have had a lot of men on base today. Only one time in this entire ball game did they go down 1-2-3. That was in the 5th. That turned out to be Schilling's last complete inning of work. Out for Thompson. This should be a 1-2-3 inning, and it is. So the Cubs have been retired, and we're going to the 9th. The Cubs ahead 6-3.
Okay, panel. How can you recognize the genuine Yellow Pages?
It has a yellow cover.
Good.
It says Bell of Pennsylvania on the front.
Right.
It has more choices inside.
Yes! That's how you tell a genuine article from mere imitators. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The genuine Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic Company.
And that was dinner for our favorite food critic?
Everything was wonderful.
Something else to drink, monsieur?
Yes. Make it a Bud Light, please.
I'm sorry, monsieur. We have run out.
Really? Well, that does change things a bit, doesn't it?
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Phillies chili. Quaint atmosphere.
Is that a tip, or did you just lose some change?
Charming service.
Enjoy an early spring break for fun with the Phillies' first business person special. Compliments of Mellon PSFS. Tuesday, April 27th at 12:35 when the Phillies play the Giants with Barry Bonds and Will Clark. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
Here are the forthcoming telecasts for the Phillies. Tomorrow against the Chicago Cubs, 2:15 Philadelphia time on PHL 17. And again Tuesday night from the vet against the Padres at 7:30. On PHL 17. Wednesday night 7:30. TKnight will be back on Sports Channel. The Padres and Phillies at 7:30. Randy Myers is picking on the Phillies. He has 2 saves this year, both against the Phillies. He does not have an earned run average. In 4 2/3 innings, he's given up 3 hits but no runs. He saved yesterday's ball game, and he saved 6 in 6 opportunities last year against the Phillies, pitching for San Diego. Lenny Dykstra today is 1 for 3 plus a walk. It's 6-3 Chicago as we go to the 9th. Myers, 30 years of age, from Vancouver, Washington. The 5th pitcher sent out there today by Jim Lefebvre. His starter, Jose Guzman, went 6 innings. McElroy didn't get any outs. Ossenmacher for an inning and a third, and Scanlon for 2/3. 2 balls and a strike on Lenny. Yesterday in the 9th inning, Myers got Dykstra to fly out to left field.
And you're not going to see a lot of variety from Randy Myers. You're pretty much going to see fastballs, and he's going to come right at you with them.
He walked him. Lenny draws a leadoff walk to start the Phillies' ninth. Cubs pitchers have issued, get this, 10 walks in this game today.
Maybe Randy Myers has caught the disease.
It does seem to be going around, doesn't it?
Something's going around in that Chicago bullpen.
Morandini is 1 for 3, a double. He has also walked and scored one of the runs. The left-handers haven't been able to get it over. The right-handers have been okay, but the Cub lefties have been shaky today, with the exception of Ossenmacher.
And down 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning, the Phillies will take all the help the Cubs want to give them.
The take sign's got to be on, right? 2-0, and Morandini will once again make him throw a strike, as he did in the 7th inning.
And Jim Lefebvre's pitching staff has been very, very generous as far as trying to help the Phillies out today.
10 walks, I'll say.
Especially the fact that, the majority, in fact, the entire ball game, the Cubs have been in the lead.
I mentioned earlier we saw a Cubs starter in that series at the Vet last weekend. Mike Morgan issues 7 walks and lose that ball game 5-4 to Terry Mulholland last Saturday. Strike.
And the mock cheer goes up from the Wrigley Field faithful.
Yeah. Mickey tries a bunt. Well, that's helpful to Myers since it didn't stay fair. It's 2-2. And who was his bunting instructor?
The Great Whiteness. Worked with all the bunters this spring training. Richie Ashburn.
Rich Ashburn. Ball 3. Randy Myers has walked 3 in 4 2/3 innings thus far this year. Strike 3 called. It was a pitcher's pitch. Morandini thought it was low and away.
Mickey, for the 2nd day in a row, called out on a 3rd strike in the 9th inning, and he did not agree with either one of the calls. That pitch is close. It's hard to take at 3-2, but Morandini must have felt for sure that it was outside or low, one or the other or both.
John Kruk on the outside corner for a strike. It's been a long afternoon for Kruk. He is 0 for 4, twice having struck out, and the last time up grounded into that 1-2-3 double play. Fouled away. 0-2 on Kruk.
At this point in time, the Phillies still just looking for base runners, trying to get that tying run up to home plate.
Kruk is a .438 lifetime hitter off Myers. 7 hits and 16 at bats. Bounces away. This will get Dykstra down to second base on a Myers wild pitch. Second wild pitch by the Cubs today. Starter Guzman issued one. One ball, 2 strikes on Kruk. Dave Hollins will bat next. Neither Kruk nor Hollins faced Myers yesterday. Atlanta San Francisco is underway. They're scoreless bottom half of the 2nd inning at Candlestick Park. Late swing and a foul ball as John protects the plate. Well, the Phillies trail at 6-3, so the key man is the guy on deck. Hollins, he's the tying run in this ball game. There's David. Been on base every time up today. Kruk destroys another pitch. Kruk coming into the ball game batting at .432, but in the early part of the year, when you don't have that many at bats, an 0 for 4 like John has right now can really hurt. Scoreboard at Wrigley Field doesn't update him for us. Outside. 2-2 on Kruk. Little topper, it stays fair. And Kruk is the second out. Dykstra remains at second base. And there are 2 outs. That ball just stayed fair. So Kruk goes back after an 0 for 5 and flips the helmet away. It's been a long afternoon for him, and Hollins gets in, and the Phillies are in danger of losing their first series of the year.
And if the Cubs hold on and win this ball game, it will be the first time this year that the Phillies have lost back-to-back ball games.
Here's Hollins. Perfect day for him. 2-run double last time up after walking the first 3 times he came to the plate today. Strike 1 on Hollins. Dave is 0 for 2 in his career off Myers. One of those at-bats coming prior to this year, and one of them coming last weekend at Veterans Stadium. He didn't face him yesterday. Just missed. Looked like that one had the inside corner, but it wasn't called, and so the count is 1 ball, 1 strike on Hollins. Talked about the Cubs having something going in extra inning, or in every inning. The Phillies have been retired in order only once today. Way back in the 6th was the only time they went out 1, 2, 3. So even though they've scored just 3 runs, there have been all those walks. One ball and 2 strikes on Hollins. Myers looks to put it away for his 3rd save. Myers strikes him out to end the ball game. Myers getting his 2nd strikeout and 2nd save in as many days. And the Cubs have taken the first 2 in this series, beating the Phillies this afternoon by a 6-3 score. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel.
Don't leave me now. I'm really sorry.
You all right?
Yeah. And who is this?
Everybody, this is Mina. He's from England and India, Africa. Anywhere else you're from?
Where's the food?
I'm mixed masala.
Hot and spicy.
Send them back to the reservation.
They're not that kind of Indian. What you got on?
T-shirt.
Guess we got a lot in common now.
What's wrong with you, boy? Don't you know the rules?
I ain't no saint.
People stick to their own kind. You're forced to accept that when you grow older.
I never thought I would fall in love with you. I see. So you think I ain't good enough for your daughter, is that it? You never told me that your family had trouble with black folks.
Pack your things. We're leaving Mississippi.
Sunday afternoon, May 9th, 1:35, the Phillies tangle with the Cardinals, and women 15 and over take home a good-looking umbrella free, courtesy of MAD Paints. Good fun, great baseball, free gift. Sunday, May 9th. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
Cubs are winners today by a 6-3 score. Cubs with 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They leave 8. Phillies 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They strand 10. The winner is Jose Guzman. He is 2-1. A save for Randy Myers, his 3rd. Kurt Schilling takes the loss. He is now 2-1 on the season. We had 32,680 tickets sold for this one. Game played in just under 3 hours. It was 2 hours and 58 minutes here at Wrigley Field today. Cub home runs hit by Dwight Smith and Sammy Sosa. Vizcaino certainly was a big man for the Cubs today. He went 3 for 4, and here's that 2-run single he had in the 6th inning.
Jose Vizcaino, the number 8 hitter in the Chicago Cub lineup, just single-handedly opened this game up very much late in the game, and for that action he is considered our Texaco star of the game.
Indeed, he earned it. A nice afternoon for Jose Vizcaino, and there was also a 2-run single for Ray Sanchez in this ball game. Here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, this is Andy Musser along with Kent DeColvey, and we will return to Wrigley Field in just a moment.
Mickey O'Neill had it all.
Bring the ladies another bottle of champagne.
A beautiful girlfriend.
Mickey, I love you.
A popular nightclub. And a way with words.
There are those who find a kind of giving in their taking. That's me. Whoa!
Until he went too far and lost it all. Hear my song. The story of Mickey O'Neill's magical journey to find the one man who can bring it all back.
The man went AWOL 25 years ago. You know he's not dead.
God spare him. I know he's here, Fenton.
His journey will lead him into a world he never knew existed, where anything can happen. Introducing Adrian Dunbar and Tara Fitzgerald, and starring Ned Beatty as the one man who can bring them back together.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel was brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Mellon PSFS, the official bank of the Phillies. By Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company. By Texaco System 3 gasoline. In every grade, System 3 helps restore performance to older cars. By Coca-Cola. It's always Coca-Cola. By Cento. And by Independence Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield. Carry us for life. Well, the Phillies have dropped the first 2 games in this series. The one thing they did succeed in today was ending the hitting streak of Mark Grace. He had a 9-gamer coming in, but the bats of Vizcaino and Sanchez really hurt, and those solo home runs got the Cubs off and running, too.
Well, the Cubs established a lead early with the 2 solo home runs, the 2 leadoff home runs early in the ballgame, first 2 innings. And, you know, from that point on, they just seemed to keep tacking on and tacking on. Phillies really not able to generate a whole lot of offense on their own. The threats that they had were generated by the Cubs pitchers rather than the Phillies bats. David Hollins finally late in the game getting a 2-run double to drive in a couple of runs, but the rest of the problems that the Cubs had today were self-induced.
That's true. 10 walks by that Cub pitching staff, but still they walk out of here with the victory. And 1 more game left in this series, and now you know why it's so good to play all those ball games at home. Well, that's about it from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Coming up next on Sports Channel, the 1993 U.S. National Cheerleading Championships. Joined already in progress. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you again Wednesday night. So long, everyone.